And we're live.
Sweet.
How's it going, guys?
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right, one at a time. That way our viewers know who you are. I'm pretty sure the Twitter community, the crypto community knows exactly who you guys are. I'm just going to refresh their minds. Now, up top, right, we got the Economic Ninja. What's up, Economy?
Hey, what's up,
Ninja?
man? I'm loving this. I love this format.
And you have a YouTube channel.
I do, the Economic Ninja.
There you go. And now, see, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Now on the bottom, let me, Silvertooth, let me get this weird thing going on. I don't know what this is. Let's get it going. There it is.
Sweet.
On the bottom, we have Silvertooth. Silvertooth, introduce yourself to all the people that don't know Silvertooth.
Well, I got into crypto because the love of it and what it does for people in general. And I've been in it since 2017, took a little break through the bear cycle, and now I'm ready to come back into it strong. So I'm here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. We were talking a little bit about that. It's cool. Now, Economic Ninja.
Yes.
I know. We were just excited. Explain your side. What's going on?
So, Silvertooth, I got a quick question before I say something about that. Silvertooth, didn't you start in precious metals?
Yeah. I think most people in crypto did. And then I saw so many people that were 3X in their precious metals. And I'm like, oh, I'm not getting on that. It's a scam. And then after about 3 months, I'm like, I got to get me some crypto. And that's what started it all.
Yeah, it's amazing to me the mental shift that has to happen when you go from precious metal sector to crypto. And it's funny because you and I started about the same time in crypto, and we watched that run up in 2017, which was just epic. And now you are literally jumping back in right as the show is starting again. And that is such a cool place to be, you know?
Well, hopefully I can just help the community out, be positive, and bring people together, because that's what it's all about. So old friends make new friends type thing.
Amen.
This is what it's about. We're all here. And guys, hey, Blind Dave, what are you doing? You're supposed to be joining that link in the email I sent you. I sent you an email, Blind Dave. Just if you go there and if you're on your desktop, make sure your video or your camera and your mic is working. Join the link and you'll be with us in the conversation if you choose to. And we have DigiByte or Just Nibble. What's up? What's up, man? All right. So this is a community chat. So this is the DigiByte Comm Talk, and we're just here to chat on whatever. And let's talk a little bit about bringing people together. You know, there was a time when it was very tribal, and I think that a lot of that has diminished.
Yes.
And I believe it was because it was just so toxic and so poisonous that it really was affecting us. And it in retrospect, I mean, every community, and it was before the big DeFi movement. Somehow that disappeared. And I'm just kind of glad it did. So we haven't really had any tribalism. What do you guys think about that? Go ahead, Economic Ninja.
So I see a big shift that happened after Jared stepped down, which is pretty funny to even say because he's just as active today as he was before he did the official announcement. And It's funny because, you know, going through, I got to meet Charlie Lee and John Kim and other members of the Litecoin community at the Litecoin conference was last October of 19. And, you know, after Charlie had stepped down, you know, and watching how the community sort of attacked, I saw similar things with Jared, but there was something else that changed. And I saw people just start stepping it up as far as bringing awareness. Obviously, Jared is not I mean, he stepped down as the official or the most recognized like head of the organization or the community. But we're watching people explode onto the scene in all these different social media platforms, really bringing to light what's going on with DigiByte. It's no longer the dev team and the DigiByte awareness team. It's literally those two groups and the community doing things like what you're doing. I think that's super cool.
Well, the ethos of the DigiByte awareness team is really just anybody can become an awareness member, but you're also connected to, like LT Mama, Laura Taylor, and all the people that are in the Telegram chat. And you kind of get like, we bring our skills together. And that's just if they call on you and they're like, hey, can you do this? And you're like, yeah, I can apply some skills towards what you want and then just help out that way. Or like you said, just step out on your own. But I did get the blessing with LT Mama, Laura Taylor, and I was just able to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to do what I can do. I try not to tarnish DigiByte. I try not to put people down. It's really hard to go against the trolls. And, I just bring people together. Silvertooth, how do you think the tribalism kind of ended for the most part? I remember it even affected Bitcoin Ben's YouTube. It's affected the Litecoin community. It affected DigiByte. It affected a lot of people. So how do you think that ended? I mean, you kind of disappeared at the same time.
Well, most people were in this, let's be realistic, for wealth, to gain wealth for themselves. So when you come into a situation like this, and you can have all the friends in the world and the only thing you want is wealth. When you have all the wealth in the world, the only thing you want is friends. So I see it as, if we do get wealth, this will only grow and expand our tribalism, because then you literally realize there's more to life than money. And I think that's pretty much why everyone got out, because of the money aspect, but they're not thinking the long-term game, I just didn't want to be pumping something that wasn't going up at the time. You know what I mean? I just kept doing video after video of pumping, and I felt like, well, I'm just losing the effect here because it's not responding to what I'm doing. So in the future, I think tribalism will be a lot higher, especially on this run. We'll make new friends from this run. We'll add them to the friends of the old run, and it'll continue on and solidify us in the space.
So what you're saying is the tribalism might come back in a way that we're going to probably have to go through it again before it gets better.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, that's a good. Both of you lay down some great points. I would have to say, as crazy as it sounds, there was a lot of division in crypto communities, and majority of it did come from a little bit of all the decentralized leaders, and I don't know what it was about, but I did notice something. I don't know if it was Jared stepping down. I have tremendous respect for Jared. I don't know if it was because Silvertooth took a sabbatical, but I do I do know that a lot of unity came about when DeFi was taking place, and that's kind of interesting when you think about that. Well, because
I think that I misread your question. What did you mean by tribalism? Did you mean us all coming together as a group to push this, or did you mean people like focusing on one thing and shunning everything else?
Yeah. Okay. So the tribalism has been around for years, but it really manifested itself when about 2 years ago now, maybe a year and a half ago, within the crypto Twitter, and it was really, really toxic. I mean, we're talking about crypto communities against other crypto communities. You know what I mean? Do you remember that? Or did you leave right before that, Silvertooth?
I kept an eye on things. I just stayed hidden. I took the question completely wrong. But the answer still is the same. Once people get money, it goes beyond what asset they hold. It goes beyond that and turns into friendship. Definitely,
Yeah.
you need friends. We're humans, and we crave people. We crave
Yeah.
to be with other humans.
Yeah, I mean, and go ahead.
I'd like to add something to that actually. So the thing that drew me to DigiByte the most, I invested in it during the 2017 run up, made great profit. It was the only community that wasn't bashing during the 18 crash, bashing everyone else or bashing the price going down. For the most part, 99% of the community talking on the internet about DigiByte was still forward thinking. It was that still those visionaries going, we know what we have here. We know that we are the decentralized, in my opinion, the most decentralized that I know. I could be wrong, but the DigiByte community is totally set apart from others. And the reason why I say that is because for the most part, most people in this community are here to help and make blockchain being not theory, but the ability for other cryptocurrency to be able to grab onto some of DigiByte's amazing technologies and use them for themselves. I think that's incredible. But I still think that the meekness of this group is unparalleled to any other blockchain out there, to be honest with you right now. So that's what gets me excited about it. So as far as tribalism, it could go both ways. Like Silvertooth says, I think this is going to get people together. I think DeFi, it sounds funny. I say it's a 4-letter word because it just doesn't seem sustainable to me. I don't think things get more DeFi than DigiByte. And I was telling Script earlier, I don't know if you know this, Silvertooth, but I am literally, on my channel, I talk about, right now our portfolio, our company's portfolio is 50% almost divided DigiByte and XRP. So if you want to talk about two totally polar opposites,
Right.
Yeah, I'm right there. But it's
Let's
funny.
not start tribalism, okay? No.
Exactly.
No.
But it's because, but that's the thing. But we don't realize that the people in this group, not only here talking right now, but everybody in the community, you're about to become a rock star, whether you like it or not. And the reason why is because now it sounds funny, but Bill Gates became Bill Gates because he was a part of something that nobody knew about or nobody really cared about. Like when email came out and Katie Couric was sort of mocking it on TV and is like, what's that? And I'm never going to stop using mail. Well, the facts is that we are in a launch point with this technology that, whether you like it or not, you're going to be a part of something that's going to grow around you. And you can either decide to grow with it in a positive way and bring other people with you, or you can go the negative way, where it all becomes about money and not about helping people. We all started these things. Silvertooth started in precious metals because he knew something was going wrong with the system, right? Then he started a YouTube channel because he wanted to talk about it and warn people. That's the right direction. Anyway,
I have to say that looks like Crypty Girl ain't going to join us. It's okay. She's doing some things.
Making
but
some
I have to say, huh?
Isn't she making Crypty Girl's doing the t-shirts, right?
She's she does the she has the Crypty merch with the Ethereum, Bitcoin, and DigiByte merch. The cool hoodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She does that. And she's messaging me right now off Twitter. She's saying we have 378 signatures right now for the Celsius network to accept DigiByte on their platform for lending. And I think the Crypty Girl, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 500 needed, and I think it's actually 1,000. So everybody that is watching this, if you want DigiByte on the Celsius network, you're going to have to sign the petition at change.org. And I'll link that. DigiBytePetition.com, and it's on change.org, and just sign the petition. So that's cool. And she's really great for the DigiByte community, and she's with the Celsius community. So what we're doing is we're trying to merge these communities and merge the cryptos, kind of like it's just how Celsius goes about it. It's through the petition. So it's not something we're trying to force our way on there like Coinbase or something like that.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? It's a community effort. People like us, you know what I'm saying? It's really nice to have Crypty involved. I wanted to say if I'm looking over here, it's because it's the screen. This is where the camera is, so don't feel discouraged if I'm going like this, look and trying to make sure everything's right over here with other people. I am looking at you, so no disrespect. And plus, you both are right there in my eyesight. So
Yeah.
one eye's over here, one eye's over here. I wanted to say, I think a lot of it also came off YouTube, the bitterness about things. It was technically after that, after I would say after the first major fall from 6,000 to 3,200. After that, after we rose up, I remember Litecoin went from 20 to $147 or something like that. And then we started going down right around then, and right before the market crashed because of the virus thing. Ooh, that's when the bitterness started coming in with everybody before the COVID thing. Hey, what's up, Blind Dave?
What's up,
Blind
guys?
Dave, what's
Cheers.
up?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
It was a
Dude.
little rough here, but
All right, Dave. You're going to have to introduce yourself to everybody now.
all right. Hello, everyone. Blind Dave, blind type 1 diabetic, 38 eye surgeries, 4 implants. Let's see. Went to a camp for the blind in 2013, learned how to use assistive technology to use a computer without a mouse or a monitor, and entered into crypto in 2014. Here I am.
That's awesome. He saw the light with DigiByte.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And, you know, there's a lot of catchphrases with cryptos too, you know, like Litecoin is the right coin, and you have a right to DigiByte. Ethereum, transhumanism, I don't know. I don't know what Ethereum is. Does anybody know what Ethereum is? I mean, we know what the crypto is, but what the word, I don't know, Ether,
I guess you have to ask what version we're talking about. Are we talking about 1.0, 2.0?
cyberspace? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just connect. So, Dave, you know what we've been talking about. Do you know anything about how the tribalism between cryptocurrency community members and leaders, how it kind of died down before DeFi hit, kind of died down after Jared left or took a break or whatever, and then kind of died down after some YouTubers kind of spoke up against the poison. What's your take on that? How did the tribalism leave for a little bit?
Well, I don't know. I think tribalism still exists. I mean, just look at Peter Schiff here recently on Twitter. So, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
That darn gold bug.
But now everyone has their own favorite coins. I'm currently invested in 16 or so, maybe 18, but 16 coins. But DigiByte is my second top holding. But anyway, the tribalism, it'll always be there. It's just people have to get over this mindset of my coin is the ultimate coin. No other coin shall pass before it, and think of it more as the internet early days where things will work together.
Yep.
Interoperability, I believe, is where it's going next.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to copy this link with Celsius and the DGB petition in the chat. Well, awesome. You know, I think we all agree that the better option, even there are disagreements between, you know, my crypto is better than your crypto or whatnot, or, you know, however you might look at that when it came into inception. which one's closer to the original Satoshi vision. What I think we all can argue, what that might be. But in the long run, I think, we all want everybody that has nothing or no knowledge whatsoever, and you see their position, you always want to give them water, hope, because they're in the down part of their life. Even if they don't know what's going on, you always want to be that advocate to, give somebody a meal, And I think that's where we're at. I think, even many of us aren't even at, status like the first couple of waves when Bitcoin started. There's there's like 16-year-olds that became millionaires from Bitcoin. I don't think we're quite there yet. And I hope if it ever happens again, I hope I'm still there in the same humble beginnings before I even entered, because, I've had to, as a young man, really reevaluate my life and how I got here. I cannot just push aside what God and the Lord Jesus Christ has done for me, because this is a lot of money we're talking about. I could, at any point in time, I can chase money. I mean, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. There's nothing inherently wrong with having money, because we do have to pay our bills, right? So
It's a tool.
I just don't want to get a hard head. I don't want to be that guy that's popping his collar, drinking a bunch of alcohol in an expensive boat that I buy. But, people are going to be that way. People have a right to do what they want. And I'm not judging anybody. I just want to be that humble guy when I came in, and just, look at all of us. We got here somehow.
Yep.
And I do believe it's a blessing. And I do believe, I was explaining to Dub Digital in my last interview that I know friends that have good jobs right now, but that's dwindling away. Their income's dwindling away, and they didn't invest anything. Gold, silver, or what have you, stocks, cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter. But 3 years ago, I invested in cryptocurrency. And I will never change. If I was able to ever go back in time, I would never change that decision, because my job has taken a dive. Don't get me wrong. I might have one job a week, barely surviving. But look where I would be if I didn't invest. I'd be in trouble, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And it's a hard spot, guys. It's a hard spot to be in right now, especially if you're in the city trying to make a living. If you don't have the network of friends or the network of support, or a foundation with your personal relationship with Jesus Christ, or a foundation with your family to look back and say, Dad, help me out. I'm really hurting. And, because family's good, or it doesn't matter if you're agnostic. Family's important, guys.
Yeah.
And many people do not have that. And many people they actually had a leg up in life, and everything was at a halt for them. And maybe they didn't get to the awareness that we got to with cryptocurrency, or just investing for our children's children mindset. So I know each and every one of you have a story to tell. Blind Dave, crypto. Blind Dave, can you please tell us briefly about your story, your hardships, and then how you got to where you are now?
Wow. Briefly,
please. Well, briefly with so everybody else can give a little bit. I know I laid it on pretty thick. I'm kind of an in-depth individual like you guys are, and I know that. I'll give you 3 minutes.
All right. Well,
start.
Let's see. I was an automotive technician, worked my whole life, and I had a 401k, was able to sell the 401k in 2012, 2013-ish. And everything went into metals, because being blind or being disabled, you're not permitted to own assets. So that took me down a deep road under monetary policy. And I would say 4 years in bed worth of eye surgeries, listening to YouTube. So um, every YouTuber out there has a voice, and sometimes it goes a little further than what you may think. Um, that led to me getting into crypto, but investing, I would say I've been blessed. Um, I sold off my 401k in the metals with no penalties or anything due to a permanent disability. Then my student loans were forgiven due to the permanent disability. So I just wish I wouldn't have bought so many toys early on. Looking back, I could have done without a Corvette or a Harley and all of the material things. So now my life has changed and evolved a bit. Now every month is a dollar cost average. So just from where I started out with Bitcoin and $200 and and well, I say 400. It was between 200 and 400 when I really accumulated. But and then I've since diversified drastically. But a long, deep road down monetary policy, and then trying to figure out a way, and looking back on further things or previous things that we spoke of back in the late 90s, before the .com. I was in that market too. So I don't know. It's been a long road. I'm glad I own rental property. That was the only thing that kept me afloat. Even currently, I haven't worked since February. So, but at the same time, I'm not selling any of my crypto. I'm leaving that there. I invested. I did what I agree with everyone when they say to invest money that you don't need, but I would add a caveat to that and say, don't invest money you need next year. So I've got a longer outlook.
That's some good advice. I mean, you mentioned dollar cost averaging and just don't spend your money that you need next year. Wow. And then
it's the only thing that worked. I lost so much money in the 2017 craze in ICOs in Populous. I threw 25 Ethereum in a Populous. I missed out on Veritasium because I couldn't figure out the Bitcoin to donate. So same thing like in the Tezos ICO, I had to convert my Bitcoin into Ethereum because I understood Ethereum better than a smart contract on Bitcoin to join in many different ICOs. Many of them now are just an Ethereum address. It's not even a name or dollar or anything associated with. What was that? Steve St. Angelo? Anyway.
Well, thank you. Guys, I put 2 links. I actually copied one directly from the website for Celsius and DigiByte petition, but the first one doesn't look like the second one. So if the first one don't work, join the second one on the comments here. That one works.
Why don't you have this on Twitter?
Well, because the program I'm using, if I throw it, actually I can share it.
I'm talking about the links themselves. Why haven't you shared those?
I did that.
I haven't. This is the first I've seen of it.
So
Crypty Girl did.
Yeah, I did that. But what happens is I did some more research. I did a community talk like this and just sent the link out on Twitter. Now, what happened was I had like 10 people knocking on the door in the waiting room like you guys did before I let you in real quick. And what happened was they were trying to join through the Twitter link on the Twitter platform without using the email browser. And what that does is it literally sets a bunch of lag on the show. and they don't tell you that, but I did more research on it. And also the reason why they weren't able to come through was because not only were they going through Twitter, that was fine. It was just bringing some lag, but The reason why they couldn't come through was they were using their Facebook link, social media link to come through. And that was the option they probably picked other than the YouTube option. So if they did pick the YouTube option, they would have made it, except they were going through the link through Twitter platform to get to YouTube. And that's backwards when this is already a broadcasting through YouTube already. So you kind of like you're doing a full loop going through YouTube twice. So it really bogged down the whole thing. So this is why I kind of like was sending it to your emails. And another thing, this way you guys have control. So with me, your screen sharing and stuff. So, Silvertooth, can you explain a little bit about maybe some hardships that you had to deal with, and you do Bible study? Do you still do Bible studies on
Yep.
YouTube? Yep. Okay.
No, not on YouTube, just personal.
Okay.
It's a personal relationship. Gotcha.
And also, the Economic Ninja, you do like prayer sessions and some devotions and stuff like that?
No, not prayer sessions or anything like that on YouTube. I've talked about my faith, and actually, it was the Holy Spirit that actually got me involved in crypto.
Okay.
So, pretty cool story. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Silvertooth, go ahead and was there any hardships that you went through that actually led you to crypto, and then just explain that, maybe explain how you got people picked up out of the miry clay and set upon a rock?
Sure. So I am fourth generation Caterpillar. My great grandfather came to this country from Sweden, and in I don't know when it was, early 1900, he was the first one to do the blueprint for the Caterpillar tractor, the very first one. So he got my grandfather a job, and he worked, of course, his whole life there. My grandfather worked 35 years, came back, did another 5. My father worked 35 years at Caterpillar, came back and did it. He retired, went to Florida, and joined a company that makes injectors for Caterpillar. So it's in my blood, and I worked at Caterpillar for about 10 years, and I decided it wasn't for me. So I started a studio, a recording studio. Actually put like $30K into it and decided that's what I was going to do, and it failed. So the hardship was breaking away from my parents, and then I met my wife. I got with my wife 5 years ago, probably more than that. We've been married 5 years, almost 6, and we were together 2 years before. And when I got with her, she was on SSI, which is about $750 a month. So I was on that for years in order to stay home with my wife. So $750 a month, and my bills were $736 a month. So after I was done paying bills, I had like $14 to our name for the whole month. So you pay your bills, you sit, you wait, and it was just a repetitive cycle that just killed my spirit. And before that, I had precious metals, so I had some stuff saved up in precious metals that I hadn't gone through.
Yeah.
And I decided to go out of that finally and get away from myself and get a job again about a year ago, which was pretty much the reason that I left crypto. I got an all right job. I'll tell you right now, I work at Walmart. I started off as a picker, and now I have 58 employees right now. I run the e-com here in Bloomington, Illinois.
Wow.
So I'm actually doing a lot better in a job that's stable. And like I said, there was a lot of nights that I just prayed, because nothing rips a human being's spirit away than getting just enough to pay your bills and survive till the next month. Nothing does. And there's got to be a way to get ahead. And that's where crypto comes into play. And that's why I support it, because it can raise us up out of this institutionalization that just holds us down. And that's how I felt for years. being with my wife on SSI. Like, we couldn't do anything, we couldn't go anywhere. Did we have $4 to put in gas to even go to that was a trip for us, going to a grocery store. We're on vacation, and everyone's like, what? You're going to the grocery store on vacation? And I'm like, this is all I got, man. This is me leaving the house, you know? So blind Dave knows. He's been through this too. It's just a vicious cycle. Yeah, exactly. It's a vicious cycle that you've got to break somehow. And if I can get people into crypto and lift them up a little bit to be their own bank and to control their own finances and take back that power, darn it, I'll do it every time. That's what it's about to me. So that's my trial and tribulation.
You've also helped out. I think we've all done a little bit about, handing out some like $1, $5 or something to someone, on the side of the highway or at a gas station. But you've also given food and to the homeless, just random people.
Oh, many times. Yeah. I don't promote it now, but every time I have a come up, I find the nearest person to me and I give them $100 bill. And I get amazing answers to that. Like, wow, I'm going to buy. The last one was, wow, I'm going to buy my wife underwear and socks because she needs them so bad. That's what the dude told me. But yeah, every winter I gather up blankets, wool blankets from Harbor Freights because they're 90% wool, give them to the homeless. I do that. And I tried to make a thing of it. But I decided that it's better to just do it off the books, myself behind closed doors. Same thing with religion. I introverted in. So, because the answer you always get is you're boasting. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to inspire, not boast. It's a different story.
I think, can I add something to that? I think that faithful men get hit the hardest, and that's okay. Because, we're supposed to, give an answer to every man, in season, out of season, rebuke, exhort, and, but also I think we get hit the hardest because there's not a lot of faithful men out there anymore. And then when someone sees some strange guy, trying to show others how it's done, maybe you're showing them how it's done, and maybe that might rub off. The goal is that we sow the seed, and the sower soweth the word. But immediately the devil comes and steals it away, takes it away. And a lot of people don't understand that, and but I have to say it's strange to them because we're strangers to them. And I know what you're saying. I know I've had the persecution. What did Jesus say? That they don't hate you, they hated me first. And I just have to remember, okay, I could also look back and say, did I boast a little bit? Did I because I have to bring myself down to their level, and because you can't reach people when you're so high that there's no saving lifeline. And I understand we all bring ourselves to them, and that's important. We bring ourselves to them, and I know you guys do. It's evident, and so Ninja, tell us a little bit about your journey, your hardships, and then how you got into crypto where you are today.
Yeah, so I don't make any qualms about it. Jesus Christ, I believe in Jesus Christ, and it was leading of the Holy Spirit that got me into crypto. This is actually my third economics cycle, full economics I've been a part of. I'm 44 years old. I started investing in and to give you an idea of realistic size, the first time it was when I was just got married and I had grown my wealth up to about $80,000, lost it all in the .com crash. But ironically, I knew about the .com crash beforehand. So what I did is I put all my retirement into the bond fund because I knew there was a stock market crash. But the greed part of me kept me in the stock market, so I lost all that money. Second cycle, I saw ahead of time was the 08 crisis coming. I liquidated. I started investing in real estate. Everything was amazing. It's when actually by 2004, I was talking to people like Robert Kiyosaki in person, and things were exploding. We had a lot of homes. It was great. But in 2006, I saw the crash coming. We liquidated all of our homes, closed the real estate business. By 2008, I was the biggest idiot in the town, but it obviously happened. I kept only 3 homes, and that darn near wiped me out too. And I ended up investing in a Ponzi scheme that took about, we're up to about $350,000. So long story short, I've learned my lessons, and I'm never going to repeat those again. And I didn't know. I thought it was my natural ability to see these cycles, but later on I found out it was because I'm what's called a watchman. I have the ability to be able to put things together and actually come up with a reason why things are actually happening. And so I want to share my failures, because Robert Kiyosaki shared with me, said a truly successful man will actually talk about his failures before he talks about his success, because he doesn't want to see other people in the pain that he went through. And that's my thing. We do reap what we sow. It's not bragging when you're trying to share these laws of reaping and sowing. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. It's just a law. It happens. A lot of people that don't believe in God call it karma, and it is a real thing. It comes around. What you do comes back to you. If you sow discord, you're going to get discord. If you sow blessings and life, you're going to get that back. The facts are, we are in the greatest economic collapse of mankind. This has never happened before. It started September of 2019, and it is quite frankly scary. But with that, it is going to be the greatest opportunity of all time. So we have I say little time, even though I'm talking about years, right? To not only be prepared, but have a plan. And I know what it's like. It's funny you brought up populist, Silvertooth. So I'm one of those guys that, or was it Blind Dave that brought up populist? So I watched $10,000 grow to $1 million in 2017. I did sell some of my stuff. I did lose a lot of stuff. Ironically, I watched 10,000 turn into 100 grand from the spring, March until September, and I liquidated a handful of it, and I ran down and bought silver from. Who do you think I bought silver from using Bitcoin? Peter Schiff.
Damn.
Peter Schiff took my Bitcoin, and it was actually pretty amazing, because I bought a good amount with the Bitcoin from Peter Schiff and from but another company, and it was all stolen. Actually, the mail truck was actually robbed by the postal employee, stole all the gold and silver out of the truck. I ended up getting it back. That's a whole nother story. My point being is that I've taken those lessons of losing everything and saying I'm not going to do it again. And I'm trying not to look at the dollar amounts. I'm trying to look at the energy, the potential energy of these cryptocurrencies, of precious metals, of real estate, and be a good steward with them. We need to look past the Lambos. I know I was just talking. Dave was in my live feed. We were chatting about my desire to help understand this is energy, and you only have one shot, really. This cycle, once it happens, it's going to be a multi-year cycle. But Silvertooth's seen it, where you get up high and you're doing all this stuff. He's part of the community, and then the crash comes, and it's like, whoa, this was a little more than I wanted, and I got to step back. And it sounds funny, but we have to prepare our minds for that next cycle. This is going to smoke up like crazy, but it's also going to drop. I see personally, my ideas, I see a $40,000 Bitcoin, and then its next down cycle, being in the teens. But then after that, flushes itself out. We're going to 100 grand, no problem. Well, the problem is how do you deal with the ups and the downs? And I honestly think that the up times are harder than the down times, because you're scared. You're polarized. I remember one day making my annual salary, and this isn't bragging. It's just people need to know the truth, right? The truth is I saw 10,000 go to $1 million. Well, there were days where I saw my annual salary in one day, and you're polarized. You don't know what to do because you're scared to sell, because you might be able to make your annual salary again. And you have to pre-plan right now and get around good people, including, family, friends, or if you don't have either of those, you need to go find people like what we're doing right here. I know a lot of people. I followed Silvertooth for years during the 2017 time, and because I didn't have anyone around me that thought like I did, so I would rely on them. So anyway, that's my story.
Great. Well, guys, I've been in and out of prison, been incarcerated for 2 years. I was a drug user, a woman chaser, slept on other people's couches for I don't know how many years, guys. Ruined relationships, broken homes, burned bridges, and I sold drugs. I've printed the United States dollars, and all that good stuff. But found myself in several times. Found myself relying on and crying out to God, and didn't know who God was, and neither did I care. In fact, I treated Christians or anybody positive like they were my enemy. And because I looked at the world like, the world owed me, I'm the victim. But God got a hold of me and said, no, you chose this. And that really turned me around. I mean, there's several things that really impacted my life. Also, world events like 9/11 and all this stuff that really changed me, my perception of the world, because I was just living in my own little world, doing whatever the heck I wanted. And so I went through a lot of AA, NA. I went through Oxford houses and living programs and welcome houses, stuff like that, and became a functional part and through probation of society, through a reconstructed life for me. And these were all programs of the state that people were paying for. And I'm a successful product of that. And really, it took me a minute to really surrender to God. And even in my flesh, it's a battle today. But Christianity is a battle for the mind. And I consider I had to face the facts that that I didn't want to be a part of a religion. I just wanted to understand who I was, and how I did that was God had to really shake me up, and he really became personal with me once I started reading the Bible, and realized that that Bible is a mirror, and I saw myself. I was nothing but who I thought it was. I didn't know who God was. I thought I had a perception of who God was. And until I read the Bible, it all came clear. So I didn't become a religious fanatic, but yeah, I was labeled that way because I chose the Word of God over my highest decisions. And I took it to heart and really wanted men in my life to give me a firm foundation. I did go to church until I found a church that, was for me, the old paths, the things that really made sense and was against everything. They were against everything. We're talking about old preachers of the faith, what we're going old school here, guys. And without getting too much into it, I really had to develop my personal relationship with the Lord. And right there separates you from religion, works, into submitting to a church, or legalism, any kind of structure that was made by man. I really understood those things because, let's face it, we all need some kind of structure. But when you go through whatever structure you're going through, you're going to develop and understand a little more day to day, right? We all know it's one step at a time, one day at a time. There's like phrases like this, like grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Or our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, that will be done, all these things. And I realized that, those things helped me along this journey to where I'm at now, to actually, looking back and seeing how many people actually helped me, regardless of race or creed, that let me sleep on their couch, regardless of what kind of rules they had in the house that I broke. The people that, witnessed to me, about God or anything like that. I had to really look at those people and say they were a big influence in my life. They were sowing a seed, and I didn't know that was literally planting in me, right? I mean, the sower soweth the word. So I got redefined like silver tried in a furnace of fire, and I think we all are being redefined, no matter how old you are. We are becoming a little wiser, and basically money was one of the first things that I found fascinating with a documentary, like the Federal Reserve, that, separated from the gold standard, our fiat, the origin of, inflation in Rome, and all these things. I was really fascinated. So documentaries was another big step for me. And I got to weed out the phonies because of my relationship with God. I weeded out the phonies of history and literally saw it. And a lot of documentaries still exist today. And I think what we all have in common here is not only our faith, but our understanding of monetary systems, and the rich and the poor, and our like I said before, absolutes. We know that there's a dark, we know there's a light, we know there's a truth, we know there's a lie. We just know these things. You know what I mean? We know day and night. And these are things that we have to reckon within ourselves, and really say, okay, I'm making a decision today. I'm doing this for others. It's all about others. And we are being used willingly to help others. And I really believe that. I mean, I don't know if you guys subconsciously do that, but I realize that I look at each and every one of you guys, and, I allow you guys to have a relationship with me, and I'm so thankful that you guys accepted. So I've been watching each and every one of you, and really love the fact that we have our direction and how we came to our path meeting here today, divine or not. People watching this right now as we speak, if I'm making any sense, if you guys impart anything from me, all I'm saying is we're here today in a present wicked world. I mean, you all know that, and it's so evident what's going on in the world. And I mean, I do my other researches. I read my Bible. I know what's going on in my own life. Some people, it hasn't hit them square in the face yet, but I think that's why we're here. We're here to, you don't have to get hit square in the face. I was hit pretty hard, guys. I've had friends that did not make it. That was me, man. I was on that collision course. I'm just thankful that I'm not on that collision course. So I had fruits of my labor. I worked really hard. I noticed I was getting well with my jobs, from one job to a better job to a better job, until I settled down with auto body repair and paint, making money. I took that wealth and invested it in crypto. I did. In fact, crypto is the only thing I've invested in other than relationships, right? Other than lives, because I do have a ministry house for young men that want to forsake the world and follow God, follow the Lord. But the thing is, I took my wealth and literally invested it. So I'm all in DigiByte right now. Before I came from, Litecoin, I never really fully was sold on Bitcoin, just because it looks like we missed out, but really we haven't. But we're on a major bull run coming soon. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It will be the first time it never happened, guys. and we are on that, upwards climb to new highs. But also, we know it's going to come back 30% and then climb 40%, then climb higher. I think the biggest drop we've had was a 68% going up, and that was kind of rare, but it's usually 30 to 40% as we break our all-time highs. So we have to get past the all-time highs before we can start saying it's a bull run. But I really do think we're on the precipice of something big, no matter how bad the world is today. And it'll have to prove out. Bitcoin will happen, and it's all riding on Bitcoin, guys. I don't care in my mind if DigiByte beats Bitcoin in this kind of thing. I don't care if Ripple makes it bigger than Bitcoin. Really, guys, if Bitcoin don't make it, I don't really see a lot of sovereignty ahead of us. It could just get a little better, but it could get worse than where we are now. I really don't want the technology in the wrong hands, but I don't have a say in that. God does, and He's in control. And I rest in my faith in God. He's in control, no matter how bad things are getting for America in the world. But anyway, I've had some real good reality checks in my own life. I'm glad you guys are here. Let's change the conversation. Let's change it. What do you guys
I got an idea.
What's
so
your
you're
idea?
talking about if Bitcoin doesn't make it, there might be some issues, right? Because Bitcoin's a truth machine because it's a decentralized blockchain. It's not the most decentralized, but it's decentralized. All right. I'm going to take the opposite side of that. And the reason why is because the government did not take this technology really serious in the beginning. Now, I know there's people, including myself, that have our conspiracy theories of who started, who Satoshi was, Satoshi Nakamoto. But there has been so many forks. To give the example of DigiByte came from Litecoin, which Litecoin came from Bitcoin, right? That technically there will, I believe, always be a decentralized system out there. The only question is on what internet is it going to lie on? And I do believe, we do know that there's multiple internets out there. We do know that the dark web comprises, literally like something like 95% of all the information out there. What we see on a Google, Microsoft, and that stuff is just a small part. But this is the next wave, right? This is literally a bigger invention than the internet itself. And the reason why we can say that is because we can actually run blockchain off of things other than the internet. Right? They've worked it with satellites. They've worked it with CB waves. There's all kinds of different technologies that are coming out. What I am excited, or what I'm excited and sad, is that people have no idea how fast this is about to hit people. If you guys remember in 2017, that run up between October and January was like lightning fast. I remember coming to my wife and going, "Let's buy a house, cancel everything for the next 2 weeks. Here's a bunch of textbooks, and we got to figure out how we're going to sell what we have." And, she kept going, "Well, we got, our friends over here tonight. We're going to go see these people tomorrow at our family." And I go, "No, life has to stop." Well, before I could grasp reality, it started coming down, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the facts are the new financial system is already running. It's already running on blockchain. I literally had someone tell me a few weeks back how crazy I was. They would never invest in blockchain, they just call it Bitcoin. But then they wanted to tell me about this awesome thing. They're like, "But did you see this Square app? And you could run, you could just pay people with Square." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, you have no idea that Square is using blockchain, But the thing is I tell people, I said, you have the ability right now to own the same technology as the people that owned email. And people don't realize that every time an email transacts from one person to another, someone gets paid because there's advertising revenue, there's data collection revenue, all that kind of stuff. And I used to tell people a couple years ago, I said, everyone will be forced to use blockchain, but only very few people will be able to harness its power and make income from it pretty soon. And we're on that precipice where the government's going to make everyone white label their addresses, and they're going to have full KYC. That is coming, right? It's very hard to stay away from that. But the facts are, you are going to be a part of a group that are going to be accepted. I'll finish with this. The part of Titanic, the movie, that always grasped me was when the wealthy people were all in the parlor and these old snobby wealthy people were like, well, look at so-and-so, they're new money, you know, they just made their money from a railroad. And they were like talking down about the other wealthy people in the room because they weren't that cool because their family, you know, they inherited their wealth and their family has been wealthy for generations. Whereas these people were part of a railroad and now they're wealthy, but we don't take them serious. Well, the facts are those people became the Rockefellers and these big groups of people because those inventions, the invention of the telephone, the telegraph, the steam locomotive.
You mentioned Economic Ninja. You did mention the progression here of technology from the telephone and all this and coming into the internet. My statement was about, let's just start there, because we did have early hackers that wanted to hack into Southwestern Bell before they became AT&T. And one of his name was Captain Crunch, and he used this Captain Crunch serial whistle that blew and signaled and tones on the dial up, right? And then literally hacked into people's conversations and was able to listen. Now, Steve Jobs was also into that. He was also into hacking. Now, these are hackers that didn't really become mainstream. These hackers, when they went along, these hackers developed because they want to know how the system worked and how they could stay decentralized in their life. And the FBI said, no, these are criminals. So you got to remember, early hackers, before there was a split in Anonymous, there was Anonymous that actually liberated and got the internet back on in Egypt, where they can rise against their tyranny leaders, because they turned off Facebook, turned off the internet over there in Egypt. There was an Anonymous that liberated Egypt, and there's an Anonymous that literally hacked into things and made chaos, which isn't what. There's a big split, but they went after the ones that were more liberating, decentralized, off the grid. And that's what the government's worried about. So I know there's going to be technology moving forward, but do you really think that Bitcoin has to die the death?
No, I think that there's going to be superior technologies in blockchain that are going to surpass Bitcoin. I think to be a Bitcoin maximalist, or any maximalist, whether it be DigiByte, Litecoin, any of that stuff, it's actually the death of your knowledge base. And that's because there is so much coming at you from every angle. Well, let's put it this way. Pets.com was worth a bunch of money, but it was worthless that day, and it was worthless today, right? But the thing is back then, when the share was a lot, you could sell it and have something tangible. Well, shoot, how many currencies do we have right now in crypto land? It's like 1,500. Facts are, they're not all going to survive. So what we're wanting to do is keep an open mind, watch what is taking shape, because the facts are, we really want our projects, all of our projects, to live, but they could die. The facts are, we are still held by a central bank, and they do have the money.
Ninja, you have a lot of wealthful information. So what was one of the major first .coms? Do you remember?
Oh, no, you're killing me. I'm trying to remember. No, I don't remember like the big ones.
Intel.
What?
Intel.
Now, are they around?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Intel's still around. Now, what about Yahoo.com?
Or
Yahoo, yeah. Are they still around?
Yep.
So we got some things that are still around, and granted, they've been hacked.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me jump in there real quick. Actually, that brings up a good point. So let's talk about who the biggest was, because Bitcoin's the biggest. The biggest .coms and technology companies at the time were actually WorldCom and MCI. And if you want to talk about the largest company on earth, that was Enron. They're all gone. If you want to talk about large banks before the 2008 crisis, there's large banks like Washington Mutual, gone. And so the facts are, there's companies. Intel wasn't like MCI. Its market cap was actually nowhere near it. Cisco was nowhere near the market cap of WorldCom or the Enron. The facts are, when you get too big and you get so ingrained in you are the best, like, I got to be honest with you, there's a lot of maximalists out there.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a look. I did an Ethereum transfer yesterday. I almost want to screenshot it, but I didn't want to see my wallet. I spent $10 because I was about to move a pretty good amount of money, and I always throw out a little bit on a new account just to make sure everything's jiving right. And I sent $10 into F, and it was going to cost me $17. Now I went ahead and did it because I had to get something finished, and within about 2 hours, that similar transaction would cost me about $1.30. Right? Well, the same thing. I've paid $60 for a Bitcoin transaction. It doesn't happen all the time, right? But the facts of the matter, if they can't get a control of those issues, and if there's always end fighting, like all these splits that we're seeing, these hard forks, then there is going to be that silent killer that just surpasses you. And I do honestly see a lot of technologies doing that right now. And so that's what gets me excited.
You mean you mean for adoption, which cryptocurrency is going to be better? I think that goes right back to the tribalism thing with communities. Let's see here. Tory Grossman, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He is a fringe guy. He's from the military. I interviewed him a while back. If you guys want to see that interview, really fringe, really exciting, and really cool guy. He says, imagine how much more would be on the internet if the infrastructure was secure and we had full control of our own data. That's so true. How about what about Silvertooth here? Silver, what do you got for this comment? It's one of the comments that we got here.
It's always a matter of control. If there's something out there, there's going to be someone that comes along to regulate it, to prove themselves that have a job. They're trying to create work off of other people. So there's this great fear that if things went away, if the system went away, we'd all just go violent and hurt each other. But the fact is that if we all shut off our TV, that would be the exact same thing as everything going away. And what would we do? We'd talk and communicate with our neighbors, and we'd actually act more human throughout that cycle. So that's the bigger police theory, I think. If we got police, we need to make them bigger. And if we got those, we need to make them bigger. And the growth of the government, the funding of it. I don't know. That's my opinion on that.
So I did have a conversation with Tory Grossman that made the comment. And we did recognize when we were talking to each other that the way that technology was growing in, radio waves and the web, like what we were saying, Ninja, about, the phone and technology just coming out of nowhere. It seemed that information was first and how we interacted. We thought that was better. But in all actual reality, we had no security and there was no foundation. We really went gung-ho with communication without having a secure platform, a secure foundation before we went all there. It was like an experiment. Now, look where the experiment went. Yes, later we had, McAfee. Later we have VPNs. But look at how much control big tech and media has over the world. I mean, super crazy, unregulated, unchecked, and we're the guinea pigs. When does this stop? When does it stop? And
I'll tell you exactly where it stops. It stops with our perception. I mean, literally, what's scary about the media, it's not about what they're watching us watch. It's about us accepting what they say is truth. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you an example. Bitcoin, crypto. There's so many people that don't want to be into it because they've been lied to by the media for years, literally years, that this is not for you. You don't want this, because they've been slowly buying it up. The facts are, Bitcoin is available for anyone to purchase on PayPal, but PayPal was slowly buying up Bitcoin this year, and then they unloaded it on everybody. And if you realize how it works, it's not like you can look at the order book and pick your price and do like a non-market order. You're just like, hey, I want to buy $10 in Bitcoin because it sounds cool, and I'm on my app, and they just unloaded it on you. And the facts are is when we decide that we want to we want to question authority, and we want to question what other people tell us and have a spirit of discernment, that's when it's going to stop. And I think it takes a collapse to actually wake people up, because after 2008, there was a lot more meaningful conversations in a room around, the holidays, because people were humbled. And I have a feeling we're ready for that reset again, but on a really big, century-long scale.
You mentioned reset, and I had another community chat about a global reset. This is pushed. These words are pushed like transhumanism, global reset, dark winter. These things are thrown around, but really there's a plan behind each one of them. And the EU, Europe has really been bombarded with the media about this great reset that needs to happen to save our planet.
Yeah.
My thing is, I come from a Christian background where, and not everybody's going to believe what I'm saying, and that's okay. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm going to say it because, in my weakness, through my weakness, I'm strong with God. Here it is. That the Great Reset is a global effort to take the middle class and remove them, so everyone is on equal playing field as a slave, just like the workers in Egypt during the time when they were slave labor. Basically, they were treated well. They all had equal pay and all had their little huts, but they had to work for much with little material. And they built all those great structures.
Wait, can I stop you real quick? Because now I'm getting fired up, and this is really exciting.
You mentioned the Great Reset, though.
So yeah, let's talk about this. There's two things.
Is it great? Is it great to reset the whole economy the way it is from capitalism to slavery?
Absolutely not.
To save the planet?
No. So let me talk about it real quick. So first off, the Bible, there's two cycles in economics. There's a Jubilee, there's a Shemitah and a Jubilee. There's a 7-year and then a 7 times 7, which is a 49-year cycle. You could put that cycle to economics all throughout history, and you could see empires rising and falling. But let's talk about the Egyptians and the Jews, right? The Jews were in the promised land. They weren't living the way they should. They didn't see the changes, right? They took, was it Joseph, and left him for dead? He ends up becoming a slave in Egypt, interprets a dream, but that dream was very interesting. What the dream was, here God couldn't get to his own people, right? They didn't want to hear him. They didn't want to listen to him. And they're in the land of milk and honey. They're about to starve. So God uses their and his enemies, the Egyptians, which weren't wealthy at the time. He had a dream that said, you're going to have 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. So you better start storing up. And I'm telling you right now, it is the hardest thing for a human being to do, to think during a time of plenty, like right now. The stock market's going up. I have the wealth effect. My house price is going up. Everything's going up, right? And we're literally actually turning into deflation because people are going to start. That's a whole other story. But my point being is that it's very hard to think about, hard times could come. There are so many people, with this being my third economic cycle, that I knew that don't even remember how hard it was. Don't remember them crying at parties, saying, I just lost my home. My job just got cut. And this has happened twice already in the last 20 years. As a matter of fact, there has never in the last 100 years been two collapses where the stock had lost 50% of its value twice in 20 years. 2001 and 2008, right? And for some reason, everyone thinks that's over. It's just going to keep going. Now, this one is different because we're going to have a heavy inflation, which means the stock market is going to go up, just like Venezuela. But along with the stock market going up, other things are going up and you're getting poorer. So the facts are this great reset is needed to change the mindset of the people. The Renaissance came along because of the Black Death, right? Or the Black Plague. Good things come out of crashes. But the facts are right now, there is still time to be able to do something and actually gain some wealth, and hopefully don't be like I was in 2006, just throwing it away. So anyway, sorry, that was just my little soapbox I wanted to jump on. I don't know if that.
It looks like Silvertooth wants to say something too. I wanted to put with it, but is a global reset is what we need. My perspective of a global reset is the end of a lot of things. Go ahead, Silvertooth.
All right, I want to get back to the infrastructure was secure comment by Tori.
Yeah,
infrastructure was secure, and I got it right here. Infrastructure. Imagine how much more we'd be on the internet if the infrastructure was secure and we have full control of our own data, which is what we have to look at in that sentence. There is infrastructure was secure, and that's why I'm kind of in disagreement with Ninja, because I think that Bitcoin is going to stand the test of time because it has been secure. There's been so many hacks, attacks, chances to go at it that it just makes it stronger and stronger and stronger, right? Which is why we have it. Now, relate that to the media, it's the same thing. The media on a different level completely. We're talking about the reset here. The media knows that if they put something out and people don't believe it, they got to shy away from it. So they're constantly testing the waters to see how much that they can control for exactly what you said, the great reset of wiping out the middle class and enslaving humanity. And that's the end goal of it, is enslavement. And so you have this one objective over here, which is cryptocurrency to free the people, and this other one over here, which is to enslave people, and you've got to come up with a way. So how do we beat this one with this one? Well, we have to do the same thing. We have to test the infrastructure and move. If it has to be like atomic swaps, Monero, things like that, all these privacy things where we can just go around and become our own thing and beat this system. That's how we got to do it. We got to use our brains, our mindset to rise above the media and what they're putting out, the narrative of crushing everyone and putting them in the same situation I was in, where you make $700 or $1,000 a month, and that's it. You pay your bills, you stay at home, you be a good human, you go to work, and that's it. You can't do anything, never come up against us. We have to be the biggest, the baddest, make all the rules, and we have to be untouchable, which is what they're going for right now. That great pressure of enslavement and evil over humans, where we crush and destroy freedom. And so we have to put that infrastructure security into changing the game, yes, but it has to be in a way where we can have, like he says, full control of our own data, full control of our own money. We have to become our own government, basically. That's what it's all about to me. We have to become the person that controls what goes on in their life. And we got to keep testing those waters. We got to keep doing growth. And there will be ways and people that come up with and think of how to get around that system in a proper way, just like a locksmith. A locksmith he breaks a lock, so they make a more secure lock. He breaks that lock, and it's an endless cycle. When you're talking about market cycles of 7 years and then it falls and stuff like that, it's an endless cycle, and we have to put all of our mental resources into this to get this done, so that we can defeat this great system. And we have to have God on our side, in my opinion, in order to do it. And kindness and goodness. There's so many times that this market in Bitcoin would have dropped and completely slammed us that you guys don't even know about, where the big whales, the people from the beginning, the people of the 2010 era, came in and said, I'm going to lift it up. I'm gonna keep this 20-week moving average up. I'm going to lift it up, and we're going to survive. And you don't hear about that. You don't know about that. But that happens in the background. To keep this afloat, because this is the side of good. This is the side of us being free and true freedom, not in the sense of I live in a country that's free, but in the sense that I'm an individual that has freedom to do what I want, go where I want, say what I want, and enjoy life. Bottom line.
Yeah.
I have a intuition that everything that we know today was warned by our fathers' fathers, and we saw the progression to communism, and how iron does not mix with clay. Iron is the sickle and iron hammer of the Red Curtain communist, and democracy is the clay that brings forth justice for all and mercy and truth. and freedom and rights. Those two do not mix. And the way I read the Bible, these things are going to clash, and the stone is going to come from heaven and literally crush the governments of this world. I really do believe that we're fastly approaching some kind of end, except every generation says that, but there could be something coming around the corner that is out of our control. And I know we can make measures, and there's each and every one of us can make measures. Everyone listening can make measures to provide for their families, provide for themselves, prep, get ready for something is coming. And I think everybody can feel it in their bones. Also, we have a great wealth transfer, and we all know this in cryptocurrency. It's obvious, big tech and cryptocurrency. Yes, we do know. I heard, I did hear Trump and Bucci's talk about attack Bitcoin in 2000 or 2018. I do remember that, guys. There is a great divide, and there is some kind of spiritual warfare that we're fighting, not only individually with our own choices. I think some of us have that mastered, or just endured the blessings from above. But there is some kind of hope with our own wealth and our choices in the midst of changing in a world that is going to be so unfamiliar. It's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a ride. What do you think, Blind Dave?
Well, I agree with what everyone else has said, but lately my deepest thoughts are of Yellen taking over Mnuchin, and with all the KYC and all this stuff, they want addresses, like y'all said, whitelisted. So I've taken that to a different level now. Whereas before I would just have whatever address I would purchase from an exchange, and then I would just make a deposit right into that address and then verify it. And what I've done now is my cold wallets that I've set aside. What I've done is I forget the mixing service, but just so that way, basically to eliminate that extra level of tracking, Crypto Blood was using a mixing service. So I did that to put all of those assets off on the side to not touch. Now, I have a little bit of a bag off on the side, yeah. But that's kind of concerning to me with regulation that is going to be forced upon Yellen, and I really don't think she has a clue. Then you've got these other people. What is it? This other app, whatnot. Shoot, slips my mind. But anyway, someone would make a purchase of crypto, then a sale of crypto, and they exceeded 10 transactions in 1 week, I think. And and then they wanted definitions. Why are you doing this? What is the purpose of this? So I'm more looking at this as a way to protect the assets that I have, because the rest of what I have, I intend to keep. Now, I have set aside the crypto that I will sell during this bull market, and maybe not into the next, or maybe the next, I'm not sure. But I set aside I designated 5 different sell targets that I would sell at 20%. The rest of it I'm keeping for the family and for what I've built. But that's more where I'm at right now, is looking at what's coming about with Yellen and Mnuchin, and then you have overreach of these other companies who, yeah, they're getting involved in, like Cash App and all of this kind of stuff, getting involved, and which is great. Now it's a totally different atmosphere than what it was in 2017. Whereas it took me a month in 2017 to sign in to create a Gemini account. And before that it was just Coinbase, but
Yeah.
I'm looking more at like decentralized exchanges where I can exchange crypto, like Change Angel and CoinSwitch and what was it, GoDex, that kind of stuff. I'm looking more along those lines to protect those addresses from being seen, so, or from having activity directly from the exchanges when Big Brother wants to step in and pull another Coinbase and, oh, we want everyone's records for the last 2 years. It just that blew my mind. But that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I saw, Dave. That's funny that you said that, because I did see how ironic the IRS is, and how this pay your taxes thing, taxing our labor, which originally is against our rights, but nevertheless it pays for our roads, I guess. But here's the thing. I seen a little YouTube video, or a TikTok video. A lot of interesting things on TikTok, by the way. A lot of crazy things, but a lot of knowledgeable things. It kind of surprised me, where this kid was going back and forth dressed as a woman and a young 18-year-old. The woman was from the IRS, and the 18-year-old was obviously, he said, hey, I just want to know, I'm 18 and I just got a job. It's the end of the year. I want to know how much I owe. And the IRS was like, well, yeah, you got a job and you're 18. You have to let us know and submit your paycheck stubs and work all that out with your tax agent and pay your labor taxes. And he's like, okay, so I don't know exactly how to do that. Can you just tell me how much I owe, and then I can just pay you that way? And or the IRS lady is like, she's like, well, that's on you to do. And if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to jail. And he was like, what? and he's like, but don't you know how much I owe? And she's like, yeah, it's up to you. But the thing is the IRS was like, yeah, we know exactly how much you owe, but you're going to have to work that out yourself. Otherwise, if you don't give us the correct amount, you're going to jail. That's what it was.
Or like with, I remember in 2017-ish, there was a young, I would say kid, but 18-ish, somewhere around there. Day traded from Ant Shares, Neo, to everything else in between in that time frame, and he had, I don't know, profited 300,000, but he owed 700,000 in taxes from that, and that just blew my mind. So my little chump change that I've been throwing in for years, it has really surprised me. So that's the only thing that has ever worked for me, is dollar cost averaging. When I tried all these different programs on Fibonacci retracements and this and that, look, that's great and all, I can't do that. I lost a lot of money on that.
There was a time that when I was young, when I was working, I was irresponsible. So I did have jobs. I did understand the principle. My dad put that in me. He worked my butt off, roofing, building rooms, sheds, digging trenches, laying down pipe. Man, all that hard mixing concrete, putting up slabs of stone, making nice, fireplaces, age 15. But here's what I'm getting at with it. I wasn't responsible enough to, file my taxes. This was an unknown concept to me. Everybody warned me about it, but I really just I was in my own little world, 6 years later, really, there was a time where I didn't, I didn't do anything. And then I filed my taxes and it all worked itself out. It was like, all I had to do was get my paycheck stubs and then give them the information. You know what I mean? Work that out with some kind of TurboTax. I think that's why TurboTax and H&R Block and all that stuff try to make it easier for people to do it, because it was tough, especially if you had a 1099. Now, the thing is when I did that, it seemed like everything kind of worked itself out. But when I was 35 years old, like way later, after doing everything right with the IRS, the city came after me just because of the location of where I lived in the city, where I paid a 1% tax on all my labor. And I don't understand it. They took that out of my paycheck, but I don't understand it. Somehow I owe $1,000 or $1,500 is what they projected. They're like, just call this number and tell me how long you lived there, or if you owed it, or contest it, whatever. I said, I lived there for 6 months. I do not owe $1,500. It's insane. And then they're like, okay, just show us some documents or proof, or just contest it with this new number. And this new number wanted everything to know about me. And I was like, that's not what you said. You said, tell us how long you lived at this residence. Now I'm going a little bit deeper in this wormhole, so to speak, in private sectors. I got out of there. If they weren't willing to be like last time, just submit some paycheck stubs and work it out, I'm willing to pay my taxes. Shoot. Just
why?
What? Well, the thing
is,
I know, but
here's the thing. Wait, the monetary system can print money to pave those roads. Why do I have to work, pay taxes on that, and then pay taxes again when I purchase it, taking 30% of my revenue?
Bingo.
Well, that is true. I mean, we do pay taxes because, it's supposed to make the road.
It's just paper. They can print it endlessly. And they do. It's called inflation.
Right, but that's part of the deception, Silvertooth. I mean, this great America economy, the deception that we can keep printing and everything's going to be okay. I think the carpet is going to be pulled from underneath America, and I think America is going to get it in the neck. God bless America. I mean, the people in it. But I think America as a whole something's going to happen to us. And and I agree. I don't believe in taxing our labor. We pay our taxes, but taxing our labor, it's better, even in a capitalist country, it's better to give, because I would give a lot more than them taking, 27% of my wealth. And then I don't feel like giving anymore, but I would give more. I still give, but I would give more if I had the wealth and did my own investing. This is what decentralization is about. Like Tori Grossman said here, be our own government. Amen. No taxation without representation. I feel like blockchain could cut out 90% of the government in 15 years. Yeah, and I do agree with you. I don't like that at all, but they try to make it easier until they suck you in until you go to jail. And I think that's what they're doing collectively, Silvertooth. It's like what you told me a while back, head for the hills, and in a lot of cases that is so true. I have so many souls though around me that I've established. I just can't leave them behind just yet, I got to put on the whole armor of God, but there's something coming from America collectively. We can all feel it. I feel the weight on my shoulders, just not as bad as it was before I was lost. Pretty crazy, but I do believe in decentralization. I do believe in cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. But there is a blockchain technology out there that is going in the hands of those people that we do not want. Sad to say. Or they're developing, or it's all a testing ground again. I mean, look what it was before. They threw out the web and see how well we communicated. See that they're literally watching our movements, seeing what we would do. They give us little, you have porno, you have social media, you have all these things, and they're all watching what people do and how they react. And then, like I said before, if you're on Twitter or Facebook, they design ways to get you keep engaging. If that's not stealing your liberty, if that's not encroaching on your or infringing on your rights and watching you and tagging you. And I don't know what else is. There's got to be something coming that maybe we're not putting our foot on. I think the corruption in the government has to be plucked out quick. I think America collectively on media that does try to surface the truth without getting stamped out by Twitter and YouTube and Google, Facebook, the media are trying to just cover up. No, nothing to see here. No, there's no voter fraud. Or, I mean, come on. There's got to be at least one vote that was fraudulent. Come on, man. I'm not stupid. But there's corruption to its core. I know people on YouTube that are literally touching on these things that actually expose them and literally got wiped off. And I pay attention to stuff like that. And maybe we're not hardcore like that. This is a DigiByte Comm Talk, guys. We are part of the community of DigiByte. I mean, I don't know if we've been talking a lot about DigiByte though, but I think some of the security aspects of our logins can really limit the very fact of us getting hacked or taking our identification and being use our identification to purchase, things that criminals want. But I believe the original hackers were truly wanting to be free of the system that they saw and how to develop it better than what they were doing. And when I mean they, I mean these corporate greed dudes. I'm talking about, come on. Only one phone company out there exists. Give me a break. Hey, AT&T owns the towers for Cricket, Sprint, Verizon, all these people, man. AT&T owns that. Kansas City was the experiment of fiber networks back in the early 80s. Fiber network. We had fiber network here way before, we had dial-up. This is crazy, guys. It was a government experiment.
Yeah.
Now, to talk on DigiByte just for a second, though, I think one thing that is majorly overlooked after everyone does go to the moon one day, that you have the technology of Dandelion, where no one will be able to pinpoint my IP address to pinpoint my location. That's going to be huge. Imagine if you... What's that?
Cauliflower is another protocol that was ramped up, and then all of a sudden it went quiet after Monero, the big Monero bust with the IRS trying to go after Monero. Nobody talks about that protocol either. There's a lot of stuff in DigiByte.
What's your favorite thing, Silvertooth and DigiByte? Yeah.
Oh, I just like it all. I like the fact that it's the little guy and it's soon to be the big guy, and I always root for the underdog. It's just who I am. I don't know if you can hear it right now, but I'm mining DigiByte. If you follow my channel, I got an S9 miner going in the background, and I'm mining at a loss, and I don't even care. Like, I get 80 DigiByte a day. That's $1.60, and I'm probably paying $2 in electricity to get it, because I know in the future it's going to be a lot better. So, I just want to touch on this. I know everyone's saying 2021, myself included, but I think it might extend to 2023, and I want you all to come to the rationale that if it does, I'll still stay in it. And then I want you to come to the greater rationale if this is a fight against good and evil, pretty much corporations are trying to run us down, that you better not sell it. The future of it is to own it, not sell it. That's If we all sell it, this is a bubble. If we all keep it and use it, this is a brand new system.
I agree with that. So Silvertooth, I agree with that. And I think the number one thing that people are missing out on is if you want to hold it and secure it, you got to get it off those exchanges. Because right now the exchanges hold way too much power. The facts are the governments can walk in, and we've seen China do it. We've seen the U.S. government do it. They walk in with certain exchanges and go, you're done, or you're going to immediately start doing this. And I'm not even talking about Coinbase. Coinbase is a totally different kind of thing where they go to court and they put up a fight and they lost the fight. And but we've seen other exchanges getting busted by SWAT teams running in and stopping them, like that one from Australia. that we never talk about. And I think I had a lot of money on there. What was it named? Coin. I don't remember. Anyway, that's the thing. We got to take the power away from these exchanges and get them into your own wallet and learn about staking. Make interest off of your currencies in, use them, like Theta or like any of these currencies. Shoot, F 2.0. Why aren't we staking Ethereum right now? Or, I mean, I know why we're not, but I mean, people need to start planning for that and start learning about making money from your money and then just spend the profits, let's say the income that's derived.
Oh, I believe Zep sent me his email. Okay. Yeah, because that's how he can join. I asked him earlier if he can join. So real quick, we have to understand what's going on here and what's at stake. So I just wanted to go back to hackers, original hackers, right? I didn't know.
White hat hackers, the good guys.
When did white hat hackers exactly? There's black hat and white hat. Did you just recently do this? Did you want to get in there, Ninja? I'm sorry.
About what part?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
It was because I was going to start talking about the origins of. Okay, let me throw it out there real quick. So you're talking about the IRS. They were formed in the mid 1800s, but the year the Federal Reserve was formed in 1913, that's when income tax came about. And when we're talking about cryptos, we need to acknowledge the truth. The fact is, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to be gone or dead or anything like that. What I'm saying is there are going to be other blockchains that have a larger market cap than Bitcoin. And people can't understand that right now. But what they do have to realize is that everything is going to go on the blockchain. And this is how it's positive, or that I'm sure of it. When you're a company and you run your stock through the stock exchange, or you run your everyday stuff like billing and things like that, billing and paychecks and stuff, it costs a lot of money. When you use the blockchain, it cuts out human beings. It also cuts out costs other than paying human beings. It also makes it streamlined, fast, and a truth machine. So a lot of companies are going to be jumping on this, right? That means that the Apples and Googles, you will see them selling their shares or running their shares on a blockchain. You will see Apple running a lot of its infrastructure on a blockchain. Why would Amazon run its web services anymore in a colo when it can use your bandwidth and your RAM so it could build the biggest, greatest, most efficient cloud network, but on blockchain? They're doing that right now. Google already signed up a deal with Theta. So my point being is this, going back to the IRS, they got everybody to believe in taxation because they went to the common man and the poor man and they said, we're going to go tax the rich. We're going to go tax them. But don't worry, we're never going to tax you. We promise. And they said, okay, let's do it. Let's tax the rich. And that's how we're getting our politicians in right now. Well, guess what? The IRS kept its word. To this day, the IRS, the first 10,000 until the Trump tax cut, which made it way better, the first 10,000 of your income, you pay zero. And if you Google what the common man makes in America, I want to say it's something staggering. Like, I don't even remember the percentage right now. I'm sure people are going to jump on there and do it, but it's something huge. Like 30 or 40% of America makes under $20,000 a year. They kept their word. Well, the thing is, if you don't pull those cryptos or get involved in cryptocurrency and you start seeing the writing on the wall and get them off the exchanges, you're never going to be able to take full advantage of the technology. You're going to think you're involved because you're going to, like, let's say Bank of America, you open an account and put $100 in there. Like, would you like to start a Bitcoin wallet? And you go, sure, I'll buy $10 worth. And you think you're the man. But what's really happening is behind the scenes, they're taking that $10 in Bitcoin, they're loaning it out at interest. And all you're doing is sitting at home hoping that Bitcoin goes up like 10% so you could sell it. So anyway, sorry, I digress, but that's what I wanted to say as far as the one to jump in.
Oh, yeah. No, good information, good input. What I was saying is, if you guys do those documentaries about the early hackers and Anonymous and all that, you got to remember what they were trying to do. They were trying to see what the system was doing and how we can make it better for everyone. I mean, because I remember there was a time when you were a bad person. And I don't know if you guys remember this or not. If you used incognito or something that, those government officials or FBI or CIA, whoever's monitoring the web, wanted to see where everybody's IPS or GPS was, or their modem location, or whatever URL, wherever they were at. They wanted to know who was hacking who and stuff like this, or they want information. It started off good, like we need to keep it, everybody protected. But this is the problem: all our rights are fringed upon and broken because Big Brother wants to know exactly what's going on, like precog, that Minority Report crap. But the thing is, the early hackers were good guys, and they wanted to retrace their steps. So they had a program, and it was a hacking program that, in the government's eyes, it said, "Hey, I got Zep on, so I'm going to add one more person here." Hey, what's up, Zep?
Good evening, gentlemen.
He's from Scotland, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yes, we got everybody. All right. So, Zep, we're talking a little bit of things. I'm just going to add one more input on the original hackers were really good guys that wanted to understand how the system works, and they truly wanted to be decentralized and have this information for everybody, free, open technology. Basically, that's what I was getting at. Really trying to figure out how the system worked and made it better so it's free for everyone. And so anyway, so the early hackers, they had a cognito trace where you were jumping from user base to user base, from computer to computer, and or you can get wherever you needed to be online. They called you a bad guy. You called you a hacker. You basically, that's exactly what they did. They did what they could do to us. And then you were erasing the IP address. And it was an actual program that did this. So, but now you have VPNs that are, okay, you can do that. They have these things where it blocks your IP address. It's all perfectly okay now. But what does that tell you? That tells me that you have to, there has to be a disruption of a system that's flawed. And it all started with a good intent. I mean, Silvertooth, they're doing away with, did they still do away with ham radio? They wanted to get that thing out of here. And that's literally some of our archaic communications they want to get rid of. Or going from, yeah, go ahead.
In the future, what they're going to do, and in my opinion, I'm KD9 and IOI. That's my call sign. In the future, they're going to sell off that bandwidth. That's how they're going to block us. That's how they're going to keep the communication down, is by selling off the bandwidth. The FCC has control over all sales of that. So what else they have to do? And basically, we stole cable television's bandwidth to get the channels and the communication we have in ham radio, because there's only so much. So they portioned off a chunk of that. Well, it's always up for sale basically to the highest bidder. So if there's 5G coming along or something like that, they can sell us out like that and take away our rights and say, well, we just don't have enough room and we've got to use this basically to our advantage. So, yeah. So I still do it. I'm still into it. I still got a tower on my roof, all that stuff. So
you saw the same progression, guys, where Zep, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to everybody. You saw the same progression that Obama made digital TV more priority for everybody to use. And remember how sucky that was? But anyway, and they took over analog, and they didn't want anybody using analog anymore. Now it's a crime if you do. Zeppelin Pass, how you doing? You were on one of the previous community talks, and I have to tell you a secret, Zep. You ready?
Yep.
Someone
I'm listening.
Likes you. Someone
no way,
likes you.
dude.
Someone really likes you. She was like, more of him, please.
She's crazy.
No, come on,
Zero
man.
taste.
So, Zep, tell everybody who you are, how you briefly a little bit of your story. We've been talking about the hardships in life and how you got to end up in crypto and actually have some awareness of, what you saw to this point and some of the things that maybe some divine intervention affected you, or you just saw something happen and you needed to get closer with, some friends and family and just help others to get where you are. Can you just give us like a 3-minute recap of your life and just introduce yourself, mate?
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Silvertooth, Mr. Blind Dave, and Mr. Ninja. I've watched many of your videos, S9
cool.
mining and fucking all sorts of Jekyll Island stuff.
Sweet.
I'm based in Scotland, in the UK. I got into crypto early 2017. At the time, it was the main dude. It was Bitcoin. And very quickly, I realized that Bitcoin was a bit like the Titanic. When it hit the iceberg, if you wanted to get off, good luck. It was a race against time. You put your transaction in, and you may or may not get out before the ship went down. And I decided that wasn't for me. So I realized DigiByte was the fast and frequent transaction type that I wanted. So as a result, I started looking at DigiByte. I started mining with, I had 13 1070 cards by NVIDIA. The house was roasting. The heat, it was like a sauna. It was like being in the US. In Scotland, we don't get temperatures very high very often. But when you're mining crypto, it's like being LA every day,
Yeah.
So
Sitting in your shorts, drinking a beer.
Beer's the only thing that keeps you cool on a day like that.
That's right.
So then I eventually moved over after a long time onto Autocrypt, and I went through the company Hash Altcoin over in Hong Kong and started renting some F1 miners from them using FPGA cards. So I scrapped, losing weight every day in the house, sitting doing nothing because of the heat in the living room from the graphics cards, and I sold them on to gamers. And I then got an Autocrypt miner and a couple in the house, and I've been mining since. Apart from that, I bought holidays. I've traveled using Traveler, using DigiByte. So for me, also I'm in a band, and I've started creating digi-assets through Josiah Spackman's website, createdigiassets.com. So that's pretty much a summary of myself, I think. And now Script's back. Perfect timing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to drain the lizard. And if anybody needs to drain the lizard, all you got to do is go over your little window there. It says solo out or remove yourself. You could still get right back in the conversation. All right, guys. I didn't know that there was a side comment from Economic Ninja and Tori Grossman. So Tori asked, Economic Ninja, here, let me just post it up. Any thoughts on how Starlink and Theta might work in tandem soon? And Economic Ninja said, we reveal everything.
Yeah.
I have not followed Starlink. I am currently running a Guardian node and am currently working on starting a validator node for my company. What is that?
Okay, so first off, do you guys all know what Theta is or what they do? Essentially, they're gonna essentially take, I believe, over Amazon Web Services, unless Amazon jumps on board pretty quick. What they did is they built a blockchain, started with the ERC20 token, and they moved on to their own native chain. They essentially, through their tokens, and they did a pretty brilliant job of actually doing a non-ICO. So they skirted all the laws, which was great. They didn't do it illegally, is what I mean. in the eyes of the government. They essentially, when you stake your coins, your tokens, they use a portion of your bandwidth and your RAM to build a massive infrastructure, a massive, let's say, cloud infrastructure, but it's blockchain based. The facts are that it is so much cheaper for, let's say, a company like YouTube to now rent space and use the Theta network to do their video delivery. It's staggering how much cheaper it is. And what got me into Theta at first was realizing, because I got in right after the coins hit the market, realizing that one of the founders of YouTube was part of that advisory board. And I'm big on investing in people. So I really look at the people that are putting these groups together. So anyway, long story short, I started with the beta program of the Guardian node, where you had to own like 100,000 tokens to be able to do it, to stake. They've now lowered it to 10,000 for a Guardian node, which makes it even more decentralized, if you think about it. And the big news, really, I think people aren't realizing, is the latest company to actually do a validator node, which I believe is still 5 million tokens, is Google. So you actually have Google running a validator node for Theta. There's a lot of other large companies. Sony and Samsung jumped in. And another interesting tidbit about it is Samsung dove in so big. As of last January, every smart TV that Samsung made has a Theta node inside of the TV. It's insanely huge. Yeah, and so Zeppelin's been following this, it sounds like. And where I think is really big, where I say it's really important that we pay attention to the technology and how big things are going to get. I think the last recorded number that YouTube's evaluation, because it's a private company, right? It's not public. It was a massive amount. I want to say it was $175 billion. Is like in 2017, the last time people took a crack at finding out how much it was worth. Well, when I say that I think there's going to be companies that have a larger market cap than Bitcoin, this is one of those examples. Even if you get a portion of YouTube or AWS's services onto Theta, I think it's going to be massive. So I'm working on getting a validator node with my company, and Dave would be interested in this because, like Dave made a comment in the beginning. He goes, "I can't own assets because of my circumstances in life." And a little while ago, I told Dave about a book on starting an entity. And the facts are, someone like Dave that cannot legally own assets because he's afraid of losing benefits with the government, he can be a manager of an entity, a corporation, which now invests and makes lots of money. That's the legal way. We talk about getting out of taxes. The facts are, the tax code is written in a way that if you start a business and you do legal write-offs, you don't have to pay any tax. And so, anyway, I'm sorry, I went totally off kilter. Sorry, Corey.
Whoa, way too far. No,
Yeah.
No, that's where
I'm running a Guardian node myself. I got in early as well, but yeah, my issue with 2017 was I couldn't take profit because, correct, I would have lost all of my benefits. Medicare especially, my insulin alone is $1,200 a month without Medicare. So, and then for me to go see an eye surgeon, whether that's glaucoma or a retina surgeon, that's $700 just for me to say hello. So what I had done was I formed a trust, and it's a disability trust. And so that way then I have a trustee and whatnot. Therefore, I use the EIN under my trust instead of my social. So therefore, if any tax implications come about, it goes through the trust. It doesn't affect me as a blind diabetic. So, but I am diving into that book a little bit. I ordered it. It's an audio. I ordered it in audio form from the state library. But I haven't begun it yet, but I'm very interested. Oh, nice. And also with Theta, I spoke to Wes and asked me anything, and he did confirm that they're going to lower the 10,000 down to 1,000, but it is only in development right now for a Guardian node.
Okay. All right. Guys, I was privately talking to someone on Twitter, um, getting the feelers out there. So guys, waiting for a response. Now, this whole thing was set up for someone to join, and I'm not going to mention who it is. So they're either busy right now, or they're trying to figure out what they think about the broadcast. This is the DigiByte Comm Talk for the DigiByte community. We're here just chatting and really just developing relationships cross chain.
Yeah. You can wear a disguise. I already gave them that idea.
Just put on a mask. No.
Put on a mask.
But the thing is we're shooting ideas. There are people that have much grounder technological base on DigiByte and that just have, more of a ground. Because sometimes, I view blockchain, I view DigiByte, and I think my imagination goes wild, and I think this is what we're going to be able to do, and throughout they're basically ideas, and but there are some people, that really know exactly what's going on, and there's another individual I wanted to join, and I don't know why he's not contacting me right now. But anyway, I'm just super glad that all you. I mean, shoot, this is what, a day after Thanksgiving. I'm very humbled by you guys joining this talk show host. So we got quite a bit of viewers here. What do you guys think? We're going to go in line here. We're going to go in line. What do you guys think is coming around the corner in the new year? And how do you think? Let's just leave it one question at a time, because I hate those people that ask you 3 questions in a time, and then you're like, "What was the second question?" What do you guys think is coming around the corner? Whether it's New Year or just what do you think is coming? What do you think is coming? Zep, I'm going to start with you. I left it broad for a purpose. Crypto related.
And yeah, well, in what respect, in regards to blockchain or the world? Because the world's in a pretty bad place.
Open discussion. What do you think is coming around the corner for crypto and the DigiByte community, Litecoin community, Bitcoin community, blockchain technology, transhumanism? What do you?
Okay.
I know. Go ahead. Open discussion.
Yeah, I would say if we're talking about transhumanism and blockchain and the future of next year, unfortunately, there's a very popular topic. COVID, SARS 2, 2019. I think, unfortunately, the most likely application of blockchain is probably for the application of health passports or immunity kind of certification, whether it be an Ethereum blockchain or any other blockchain. There's a lot of companies kind of involved in discussions, whether it be Microsoft. The other two escape me just now, and they're kind of ERC20 tokens at the moment. I know that DigiByte had their foot in the water in regards to track and trace systems and the hackathon that was going on. So unfortunately, I think that the future for next year for blockchain is probably not the use that we would want, the kind of the libertad, use for freedom and liberty that we would envision it for, and it may actually be hijacked by corporations using, whether it be side chains, Microsoft systems, or Google affiliated systems. I think personally that's what's probably going to grab the headlines, and the rest of the chains will be at the background trying to keep up with what they can actually contribute to the world in a kind of pure manner, rather than a manner which has ulterior motives. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does. Blind Dave, you next. What do you think's coming around the corner? DigiByte related, blockchain related, anything?
All right. I want to touch on Facebook Libra. I think that when they launch that is not only going to include stable coins. I think it might be a little more than that. I don't see them offering something for no profit in return. So maybe a little interoperability there. I don't know if that's going to be like ODL with XRP or XLM. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I think that is going to basically open the floodgates for a lot of new users. Around the corner, same thing. Like I said earlier, Janet Yellen replacing Mnuchin. I don't know what's coming with regulation. I just took a few preemptive steps. I think onward and upward. Just adapt and overcome, constantly revolving, and just adapt and overcome.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some things around the corner coming. Adapt and overcome. That's good. It's good. The economic ninja. What do you think's coming around the corner? And yeah, it could be any topic.
Yeah, so no, that's what's coming. So beginning of January, definitely by end of February, you're going to see, I truly believe, the US digital dollar, which will not be a blockchain. It is totally opposite of a blockchain. It will ride on a blockchain. It will be recorded on a blockchain, so it'll have that look, just like the IRS. It'll have a look of something good, and it's going to help you, but it's really not. They're going to, I believe, the second payout for this pandemic is going to be one of those where they go, hey, we really want to help you, and we screwed up on the first one, which is true. We didn't get it to all the people that needed it, so why don't you get on your phone right now and download the secure app from the Federal Reserve, and we're going to give you $2,000. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go get it, and I know everyone here is going to probably go get it. And you can spend it on almost anything you want, just like what China rolled out. You can spend it at this place, and this place. And you know what? You only have like 3 weeks to spend it. And they're going to get immediate adoption. Then they're going to say, hey, you know what? Cash is dirty. And I actually believe this is going to come before June. And they're already running commercials on Fox. I just found out the other day where cash is going to be gone soon. And
really?
Say, hey, yeah. And they're going to say, look, go down to your local bank. You've already got the app. We've already made it for you, your digital wallet. And it's digital, not a blockchain wallet. Every dollar you turn in, we'll give you like $1.10. And people are going to race to it because they had to get us into a place where we were begging for a change. And I think that's what's coming to and what's happening is about finances and evil finances. September, and then he said quantum financial system. I already signed it. No matter who you vote in, you're gonna have to deal with that. But hopefully it's me because I'll know what to do with it. I believe that that is in play. It's already running, and people are going to be surprised. And the thing is this is like Bretton Woods, which I don't know if you guys have been following, which I'm sure you have. The IMF's just called for a new Bretton Woods. When gold was revalued in 1933, most people didn't care because they didn't own that type of gold, right? Same thing like today. My coworkers don't care that Bitcoin went to 20 grand because they don't own it and they still have a job and they still have real estate. I'm pretty stoked that Bitcoin went up to 20 grand. But that's the whole point. Most people are going to get passed by this and they're going to get sucked into the wrong system. We're trying to keep people from that. So anyway, sorry, that's my 2 cents.
Silvertooth,
Hey,
Same question.
what's with this? You're doing this a lot to get your internet straight. Do you have some magical powers I don't know about or something?
Yeah. So every time the Economic Ninja kind of blips out like a tube TV, I kind of just like hit the side of the. When you were above me, Economic, I was like this. I was like, yeah. You were blipping out occasionally. That's it.
But it came right back in when you did that. So
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know.
I was timing it just right. Try to. I need to make that funnier. You know what I mean? Okay, so same question. What do you think is coming around the corner for us? Crypto, anything related? What do you think is coming around the corner?
Well, I'm going to relate this to crypto, but I think that in the summertime they're going to come up with a vaccine. Until then, they got to push a second agenda of it's killing people and it's going wrong. So I believe we're going to have another lockdown, which in turn is going to cripple the crypto markets yet again. So be saving some money back for another buy-in just in case. They have to make it seem rational. So if people are going around saying 99.96% of people are living through this, they have to focus on these cases where a random 40-year-old died and justify it when 10,000 people died in a car wreck just probably since this video was produced. But they're going to bump it up so that they can get that vaccine out because this is all big pharma doing the playing game. And in turn, it's going to drop crypto. So be ready for a a nice rally.
Yeah.
That's good news. I mean, there's a lot of things coming around the corner. I think the world is changing. I think it's changing. You know that saying, it's going to get worse before it gets better? I really believe in all that. I mean, just some of the things that are being exposed. I have like one more person that could have some insight. What?
Hey, man.
Dang!
How's it going, everybody?
Jackman in the house.
Looks like it's a party here. What's going on?
I started this without your permission. Is that okay?
No, it's cool, man. What's happening, everybody?
What? Uh-oh. What happened to Zep? Zep, where'd you go?
He threw his computer in the air.
I'm still here, brother.
Okay.
It's
Horizontal.
5:30 on a Saturday here, and I've just been moving my grandmother, so cheers.
Dude, the background looks different. So you're at your grandmother's pad and you have some
No. I've moved her. I'm about to go move my room around and stuff as well. I've just been real slack lately, like really slack. So yeah, fun times.
Yeah, fun times. What's up, guys? Go ahead, talk to him.
I got a question for him. And it's actually about Jared, but it's something interesting because one of the big questions we're always asked when we're talking about DigiByte is what's new, what's going on, and people don't realize people like us aren't in the dev, we're not in the know, but Josiah is pretty darn tight. It doesn't get much tighter, right, with the group. Jared, now I know we probably can't talk about it, but just throw out some ideas. Sorry, I talk with my hands.
Sure. No, that's fine.
A couple of weeks ago, Jared had talked about he was stepping aside for just a little while because he had a big project he wanted to work on. And he was
a couple weeks ago. It was like 3 or 4 months ago, but yeah.
Yeah. And then ironically, he never stopped. He was still on Twitter, super pumped. So the first question,
can't fucking help himself, right? Like
that's what I love about him. He doesn't run from a fight. He's super involved. But the big question is he? I don't need to know exactly what he's working on because I understand the reason why we want to keep things secret for a while. But is he working on that project?
Yeah. Well, so because okay. Previously, he's been working a bit on Vesti and things like that. Unfortunately, due to other it's not that it's on hold, but it's basically been delayed.
Okay.
But he doesn't want to wait for it to come to fruition and everything. And so the guy's always on the move and always like, what can I do for DigiByte? What can I build and stuff? Because he hasn't really been involved so much in DigiByte for a while. He wants to basically show what's happening and what you can do on top of it and give people inspiration and encouragement. And so he's now got another project. And yes, as far as I'm aware, he's still been working on it. Now, he's talked a little bit about this in terms of he wants to show off true decentralization is probably the best way of summing it up. But yeah, you're right. Like, he doesn't want me to talk about it, but yeah. He has been working on it, and he's got some cool shit kind of in the works. And in terms of like what DigiByte is working on, man, there's stuff every day. Like, so we've been super hard at work with RandomX. We've got Prog Pow is actually mostly happy now. We've got a few more little bits and pieces to do, but we're getting there. We're making progress. Schnorr Signatures is kind of half implemented as well. We've rebased off of the upstream Bitcoin Core 0.20, so we're going to be DigiByte 8.20. We're skipping like 0.18 and 0.19, like
screw
just
it
because. Yeah. So, oh man, it's been so crazy. The last what are we now? We're at the end of November, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, the last 8 or 9, maybe even 10 weeks have just been so full on. And unfortunately, it really sucks because I haven't been doing any videos and things and trying to keep people up to date with this is all the really crazy shit that's happening. We're just doing so much cool stuff. But at the same time, I want to be involved in it and help push that forwards. It's a tough mix. What are you going to do?
Yeah. I got one more question unless someone else does.
You don't have to raise your hand. I don't think.
I'm just trying to be nice. Fine. All right. So some of my followers have asked me because in the crypto community, especially when you're new, we try and think of people think of DigiByte like it's Bitcoin or like it's Litecoin.
Sure.
We all have our own specific niches, right? And we obviously see DigiByte not only for speed, but for decentralization and security. But people have been layering on a smart contract. Okay, what about layering on a smart contract layer?
Right.
Have you ever talked about that?
Yeah, like Ethereum, basically, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so short little bit of history for people who aren't too familiar with the way that Ethereum effectively came to fruition. So back in the day, Vitalik Buterin was heavily involved in Bitcoin, heavy Bitcoin. I think he's written the most Bitcoin libraries in Python out of anybody at all in the world, like still to this day. And so he wanted to keep building these smart contracts and things on top of Bitcoin. And then from Bitcoin, they I suppose, who's familiar with Tether, like USD Tether? Probably most.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Tether is based off of Mastercoin, which is a layer that's basically built on top of Bitcoin. From Mastercoin, they then became open assets. Actually, they became colored coins, and then they became open assets. And that's effectively what DigiByte has taken. So we went from Bitcoin to Mastercoin to colored coins to open assets and then to Digi assets. And that kind of brings us back full circle because Ethereum was effectively built at the time when they were looking at these colored coins and things and basically going, we can't quite do everything that we want. We can do a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff, but we want to bake it into layer number 1. And the problem is if you look at Bitcoin, their underlying layer is just, it's too slow. It's not going to scale enough on chain because that's their point of difference is we've never hard forked. We're worldwide dominant in SHA-256 and that's how it's going to stay. We're slow intentionally, big fees, cool, good for them. But that's not DigiByte's point of difference, right? So we're basically going, well, if you were to take these open assets and throw it into the DigiByte blockchain and customize it for DigiByte, and we'll call it Digi Assets, cool, this is actually going to work really well. So in terms of actual smart, that's a little bit of history there. In terms of smart contracts on top of it, we can probably do, give or take, 80 to 90% of the cool stuff that people want to be able to do on Ethereum You can do it on DigiByte with Digi Assets. Now, you're not going to be able to do something like Hexcoin, which is pushing even Ethereum to its limits. But in terms of like 80% of the other stuff that people just want to do, you want to do it on Ethereum, you want to do some smart contracts, you want to do some cool stuff, run your own token, run your own asset, lock it up for a little bit, control who is able to transfer, all of that sort of juicy stuff. You can do that with Digi Assets, even right now, even today. So there's still like, we could push that 80% out to kind of like 90% if we went and we implemented some additional opcodes and things like that. But as far as like on a personal level, I'm not sure the juice is worth the squeeze.
Okay.
I think we're there's got to become a point where like you've got diminishing returns basically. And as far as I'm concerned, I think we're at that point. So, I mean, you're welcome to argue with me and tell me I'm wrong. It's totally cool, and I'd respect that. But
how dare you speak your mind?
No, I want my full turkey.
How about dumb contracts?
I have a question.
Yeah,
Go blind Dave, go.
It's good to hear from you, man. I think it's the first time we've been on a call together. It's good to see you. I mean, I know that's kind of a bit of a dick move. It's good to see you, but you know what I mean? I'm sorry.
I don't take offense. Don't worry. But
anyway, fire away, man.
What's that?
Fire away, he says.
Oh, my bad. No, my recent thoughts are of Ethereum 2.0 coming out.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with all of that mining equipment? Is there a way to merge that? All that equipment is going to go on sale on Newegg and everywhere else, and which mining would you say would that go into in DigiByte?
That's a really good question, man. So you're right. Like a whole lot of it's going to go up for secondhand sale, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm psyched because my 1080 Ti is in sore need of an upgrade right now because I'm trying to game it and I just like at 4K, it's not quite working for me. but you're absolutely right. So number one, it's going to go up on sale. Number two, it's going to go to other places. And I mean, it might actually take a little while. Like, let's be fair. They are like staking is coming for Ethereum. And I think that's cool, but yeah. Well, okay, so if everybody knows by now that we're looking at ProgPow and we're working hard to implement it. And in fact, we've made leaps and bounds even over just the last week. Now, what would happen if ProgPow were live effectively on DigiByte and all of a sudden Ethereum goes, we are now 100% staking. There's going to be a truckload of GPU miners. Now, they're not all going to be able to go and mine DigiByte because it just won't be profitable. It won't be feasible. But there are going to be a number of. Actually, I tell you what. Hang on. Let me quickly see if I can bring this up.
You can share, Josiah. I'm pretty sure you're well aware of what you're on right now.
Okay.
You can share your screen. You can share your screen. I'll post it up.
Yeah, you know what? Like, hang on, can I don't want to do that.
Share your screen, and I.
No. I'll read this out. I'll just read this out, okay? Because I've been writing a presentation about ProgPow and about RandomX, right? And so this is very relevant to your question. Okay, hang on. Where is it? Give me a second here. Right, so some back of the napkin math. If we were to take the current RandomX hash rate, which is Monero, okay, so it's not quite Ethereum, but we're close here, all right? Just bear with me for a second. If we were to take the current RandomX hash rate, and we can see that on both Monero and QRL, it's about 1.5 gigahash, meaning there's around about 160,000 high-end computers at the moment mining Monero, and they're splitting about 90 grand a day. Now, let's say that we take RandomX and we replace SHA-256, and that's a fifth of our blocks, giving us 152 blocks a day, which is 600,000 DigiByte and 15 grand. Now, let's take that 15 grand compared to their 90 grand per day, ballpark. Again, this is just very back of the napkin math here, okay? That means that we would have 40,000 high-end PCs mining RandomX on DigiByte, or about 120,000 mid-range. Like, think about those numbers. Same thing goes for ProgPow and Ethereum compared to like GPU mining, right? Like that is a shit ton of mining.
Yeah.
I mean, so with SHA-256, I think at the moment we've got somewhere in the vicinity overall, completely total, around about 3,500, give or take. 3,500 to 40,000 or 120,000, depending on if we're looking at like high end versus mid range. That is a lot of people mining DigiByte. There's a lot of people suddenly invested in the network and hopefully holding on to it. Hopefully they're not going to be selling it every single day. They can, though. It's a free world. They can do whatever the hell they want. But that is so many people now, all of a sudden, just mining DigiByte and hopefully excited about it, hopefully learning about it. Like, how freaking cool is that? So, I mean, I know it's not directly like apples for apples, but I think that kind of that shows you a little bit about why I'm so psyched for ProgPow and RandomX, man. I'm so excited.
I think Silvertooth is showing us his S9 miner mining DigiByte.
Shaw 256 right there.
Yeah, man.
256.
So what have you got in the background there? What is it? Is that the S19?
Yep. No,
Nice.
S9.
It's an S9.
S9.
Yeah.
So let's do some quick Googling and see what the S9 gives us. S9 miner.
13.5
terahash.
Yep.
Holy moly,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's where my number of like 3,500, give or take, comes from, because I know that not everybody's going to be mining on like the top of the line, like latest. So when did the S9 come out? That was what, like about 18 months ago?
No, it's 3 or 4 years ago.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow. You'll still be pulling in a few DigiByte every day, right?
I pull in 80 a day.
Nice. That's cool,
I should be hitting 108, but if you've got an upgrade for me that I need to know about, you let me know.
So this is something that I've been talking about, and that's kind of the hard thing, right? Is like, so we've got 5 algorithms, and of those 5 algorithms, something's going to have to give way if we're going to bring in RandomX or if we're going to bring in ProgPow, right? And at the moment, it's probably going to be SHA-256 or the qubit algorithm.
Dude, I had so many people developing on SHA-256 for DigiByte.
As hard as it is, I mean, like that's the thing, though, right? Like, so it just basically means that you're going to be mining like Bitcoin or BSV.
What do you do?
I knew it was coming. That's all right. I just wanted to own one as a piece of history.
But here's the cool part, though, right? Like, you can now mine that on your computer at home. You can mine your DigiByte on your PC and still mine Bitcoin. And you're welcome to sell it and buy DigiByte if you really want. Like, I'm not going to stop you. That's cool, man.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So I was told, actually, didn't we have like a vote on that, Josiah? Like a test vote? Like, which one would it, SHA-256?
I think Jared ran like a poll or something back in the day, and we've asked a bunch in like Telegram and just everywhere. And like the simple fact of the matter is that at the moment, unfortunately, SHA-256, it just makes the most sense for a number of reasons. Like I think you had a Medium post of mine up previously. Like that's the unfortunate thing. It just makes sense.
You caught that? I thought you were reading off your screen.
I'm trying to multitask. It's not working very well. Like I've been drinking for the last 6 hours. I'm sorry.
No excuses.
Wait, are you talking about the T-shirt idea?
Huh? Oh, you mean the T-shirt idea you just came up with?
The stuff Josiah says. I said someone call Crypty Girl a new sweatshirt idea. DigiByte, a shit ton of mining.
Yeah.
Keep those off for a minute.
So, actually, guys, did everybody feel it when the alpha dog came in the room? Everybody felt it today.
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
I just really became a nothing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Here, let's put him right there. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, please leave Jared off of this call too, because then I'm just
Top
getting out of here.
center. Perfect. Top center.
This is as great as it's ever going to be, guys. I've never had such
Patriarchal.
a group of guys.
He's great when he fucking rings you after he's had a few bourbons and he's in a bar and he's like, Hey Joe, I just wanted to tell you that look at this barman over here. He looks just like you. Look, barman, show him. You look just, and I'm sitting like I'm hanging out with my family having dinner sort of thing. At the time. He's good value, man.
That's cool.
So you were talking about XMRig as well. What
Yes,
do you have in mind, man?
Now, the reason why I wanted Josiah to come in here, this is the DigiByte Comm Talk, and I did want to talk about the community, and I wanted to talk about some technicals on the XMRig.
Right.
And you posted up an article, and you did do a video on your YouTube channel, Josiah.
Right.
By the way, if you guys aren't following these guys, go ahead and follow them. Josiah,
Like on this video, hit subscribe, share this with your mates.
Josiah, he is first. Do you need an introduction? Do you need to tell everybody who you are, or are you good?
I do it every video anyway, just in case. It's a little bit narcissistic, I'm aware, but fuck it, whatever.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you a little introduction. I'm gonna allow it. Go ahead, tell us who you are, how you got into crypto, and what do you think is coming around the corner. I'll give you 3 minutes.
All right, so my name is Josiah. I'm also known as Chilling Silence. I got into cryptocurrency back in 2013. A mate of mine said that you can mine money on your computer and you can effectively print money, and it blew my mind. So I got into Bitcoin and I got a couple graphics cards. I basically I spent $2,000 and I bought 2 high-end graphics cards to mine Bitcoin, and I thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. Unfortunately, that was right as the ASICs had arrived. So I started looking on Bitcoin Talk, because back in the day, that was where everybody hung out, were on Bitcoin Talk. And I found Litecoin, and I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. You can mine it on your CPU. You can mine it on your GPU. It's got a higher maximum supply, and I'm a clever dude. Like, this makes a lot of sense as far as I'm concerned, right? And so I started mining Litecoin for about a month. And then the Mine for Mud happened with Dogecoin and DigiByte, and they got together and you mined for 24 hours and you donated that to the mudslide victims, basically. They raised a whole bunch of money. It was really cool. And that got me looking into DigiByte, and they'd just done their next like upgrade. And I was like, okay, they've just done DigiShield. This is cool. They've launched and they haven't stayed steady. They've improved things. And not only have they improved things, but they've got faster block timings. They've got a higher maximum supply than Litecoin. And my brain's ticking over going, I think I'm still a clever guy here. I think I'm onto something. And that was early 2014. And here we are today, and at the end of 2020. And somehow I'm still around. Yeah. I stopped mining. Basically, I got divorced in 2014, like about a month later, and I stopped mining. So that really sucked. And I didn't come back until about 2017. But you know, what can you do? You live and learn, right? It was fun times. And so that's my story. That's how I got involved in DigiByte.
That's awesome. And
yeah, man.
So Crypty Girl and I were having a live chat. And she said I was like the mediator between smart people and the community. And I said, no, truly the mediator is Josiah, and because he's in the war room.
Oh, thanks,
and,
man.
It's not, I was just as equal as her. You know, I mean, I am not in the war room. I consider you being in the war room because you're just a little bit more connected. And, you know, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to be in the war room. Like, that's the really shitty thing was I've told you I started doing videos and things. A friend of mine, if you look him up on Twitter, DGB_YKegel. We talk basically every single day. He's cool. He's been around since 2014. Dude is amazing. A lot of respect for him. If you're not following him on Twitter, you should. He's fucking legit.
Who is that again? One more time.
DGB_YKegel.
Okay.
Apparently it's legacy backwards, but I don't like. He won't tell me. He won't tell me what it means.
Oh, okay.
And so we've been, yeah, like he's we got talking in, oh man, it must have been like late 2018 or something. And he says, he's like, why don't you just start a video? And I'm like, screw you. Why don't you start doing videos? And he says to me, he's like, I bet you can't do 5 in a row, like 5 days worth.
That's
and then
right.
That's right. Like 200 and something freaking videos later.
I think it was a much needed. Your YouTube channel is much needed because I learned a lot. I went from Litecoin information. What happened to Zep? Zep's been having some trouble. He'll be back. Litecoin information, and hearing technicals and stuff. And then when I stumble on your channel, I was just absolutely floored. I was like, I need to know what this guy knows.
It's kind of funny. Like, I mean, that's the thing was so for I started doing like written articles and just responding. Like, people would jump in Telegram and go, "Hey, we want to interview somebody." So just you just put your hand up, like, "Hey, I'm here." Like, I'll like, fuck it, why not? I'll reply. I'll answer a few questions, and if I don't have the answer, we'll figure something out. We'll Google it real quick. Why not? And over time, like I would write at the end of these articles and basically say that DigiByte is permissionless. If you want to do anything, you can do it. You can be whoever you want to be. If you want to start a podcast and hang out like this on what I'm presuming is your Friday evening, like, do it. Why not? And that was the problem, was basically my friend DGB_Whitekegel, he basically said to me, he's like, so do it. And I was like, damn, he's right. Like, he's actually right. Why are we not doing this? Why not just step up and do it? So it's pretty cool. I love that aspect of things. I really do.
I just sent that back to you. I'm going to go back to comments. I'm new to this thing. I'm sorry. My bad. I just posted up who he was talking about in the chat. Guys, go follow him. Really great guy. So XMRig, you were describing how it'll all work out. The way I understand it is how you told me that you can mine with XMRig DigiByte, but you pay a portion of your hash rate to the developer, or you were proposing the DigiByte XMRig mining on your CPU, right? And donate that 1% of hash rate to the DigiByte development team. And I think that's a really great idea. Or you can just say, screw everybody and be selfish and mine your own DigiByte.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Like, why not? Like, I think that's one of the things that I keep coming back to is choice. And I love that people have choice. I love that you're not locked in. I love that you can do whatever the hell that you want. I love that you can choose to mine with the main XMRig like binaries. I love that you can go and you can like compile it out and just mine 100% for yourself and be selfish. Why not? Like, why not? Or I love that you can decide, you know what, we're going to take that 1% and instead we're going to give it and donate that hash rate to a fund that will go towards other development. So this is effectively, it's 1/5 of 1% in the grand scheme of things. And even then it's not even that much because it's optional for people, right? And people aren't going to do it. Like, not everybody will. There are going to be other people out there who are just going to go, I'm going to choose XMRig, I'm going to choose Rager X, I'm going to choose all like these other different options that we've got. So it's a tiny, tiny amount in the grand scheme of things because it's only like 20% of the blocks effectively, and then 1% of that, and then only for the people that opt into it. So it's really nothing. But what excites me is the idea of mobile mining. I want to mine shit on my cell phone. Like, it's 2 years old now. I don't even care. If I get like a DigiByte a night or something, like, how badass would that be? Especially because
talk about decentralization.
Exactly, man.
Decentralization,
like, sure.
except with Random X. I was just the whole suggestion of introducing that was like, wow. So you don't need to have an accolade of graphics cards or FPGAs or anything. You just need a computer.
Oh, for sure.
But let's take it down to the basic of you need a phone. It's
one step better.
It's perfect, man.
So because we did a little bit of stuff back in the day, like helping out in Venezuela, we were helping out with the school and things like that, the hospital, we helped them with their like air conditioning and their refrigerator and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. And I thought, like, I was talking with David Hay back in the day, and he said that over there, most people have a cell phone. And I'm thinking about it, and with CPU mining, if you're all of a sudden able to take your cell phone and you clip it in at night and you're like, okay, cool, now I'm charging. And then it starts mining. You can hit the button and you go, mine while I sleep. Cool. like no fluffing around, no having to enter in a whole bunch of complicated nonsense. I just want one button. Or maybe not even a button. Just do it automatically. That's what I want to get to, right? Like, that's what I want to get to.
I have a comment, Josiah, from Glenn Frazier. What was it? Oh, Electronium had problems with the phone getting too hot.
So you don't want to do it obviously while you're doing like GPS. You don't want to do it when you're not charging and things like that. You want to let your phone charge, and then even like potentially like throttle it while it's charging. So if you're going to sleep at night, I don't know about you, but I go to sleep for about 6 to 8 hours, give or take. So for the first hour, run it at half speed while it's charging. Who cares? Like, your phone's not going to take much longer than an hour to charge. And then run it at full speed after that. Or let people have a slider and let them choose themselves if they really want. Like, if it's not hard for us to restrict it and throttle it back like a smidge, right? Like, I think that kind of thing. And I think the ability to get people on board and involved, and like you said, we've removed the requirement to buy an ASIC. We've removed the requirement to buy an FPGA. There is no barrier to entry now. So, because I'm getting ahead of this presentation where I basically talk about this. There is quite a big investment required for an ASIC. So Silvertooth knows that, right? Like up front, what did it cost you to buy something? It's not cheap, right?
Oh, you mean my Shaw 256?
Yeah,
that was $65. 65
really?
bucks.
Okay.
101 shipped. I bought 2 of them.
That's
was it
pretty
an
good.
S9 you bought, Silvertooth? An S9?
What's that? S9.
Was it an S9 that you bought? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so it's a pretty old school. But still,
old school.
Yeah, but
still, I will evolve over time. I guarantee
the latest
I
ones
will.
are like $1,500 or something, or whatever. And
No,
I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's an investment and a half.
The S19 Pro is $3,500.
Damn. Okay. All right. So that's perfect, man. Thank you for that. Okay. So an S19 Pro is $3,500. Okay. So let's picture this, right? I don't know about you guys, but you're talking to your significant other. If I go into the air, like she's having a nap right now, if I go wake her up and I say, "Hey, honey, I want to spend $3,500 and I'm going to buy this unit." And she's going to say to me, "What does it do?" And I'm going to say, "It does math. It does a shit ton of math." She's just going to be like, "No, like, fuck off. It's not happening."
You got to whisper it. You got to whisper it and bring a rose.
That's my problem. Okay, and chocolates. I'll bring the chocolates. And we can cook the chocolates on top of it because it's going to heat the room because it gets so freaking warm. Right?
Unless it's followed with, "Babe, I'm going to spend $3,500 on a new bathroom suite." It doesn't wash. Doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't wash.
Wait, I got an idea.
No,
you take a wrench, you break the heater to the house, and then you go, "Honey, I'm gonna get a new heater. It's $3,500. It's gonna be great."
Well, so Silvertooth is heating up his home. Are you heating up your house?
I do not have the heat on in my house right now, and it is going to get a low of 26 tonight.
Okay, so I had some graphics cards, right? Because for a little while I bought some graphics cards, and you're gonna. So what did you say it got to? 36.
26 tonight. Well below freezing.
It's -3 in science. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had some graphics cards in my house for a little while back in the day.
Real numbers.
And just to give you a bit of an idea, the house, even at night, in the cold of winter, would not go under 105 Fahrenheit.
Dang.
That was warm as hell.
Listen,
So-
I had
Where are you
the
living,
L3
Silvertooth?
Plus miners, 3 of them running, mining Litecoin and DigiByte,
Yeah.
and my house was hot.
Yeah.
I mean, super hot. And I was trying to run in the summer or springtime into summer. I had to connect those flexible air ducts that to the miners and run them outside in my basement.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
It's cool, right? It's good fun.
Except I was
don't
paying
recommend you
$600
go out
a
and buy
month.
100 of them. Like I learned that the hard way. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it in the wrong time. I think the winter is a great time. Actually, like 3 to 4 months is a great time to be mining with some big machinery like that.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because it keeps your house warm. It's nice. But like you're absolutely right, man. Like that's the thing is so we remove the barrier to entry. With RandomX, there is no barrier. There is no having to go ask your significant other and go, hey,
Exactly.
can we get an expensive heater? And it's going to make me magic internet money that you can't spend up at the dairy or anything, or you can't go buy your groceries with. But it's going to make me magic internet money that'll hopefully make us some money one day. Like, we're doing that, and so that's where ProgPow and that's where RandomX are coming into play. And actually, Blind Dave was absolutely on the money, asking about like what's going to happen with all that Ethereum community. Where are they going to go? They're not all going to go to DigiByte, but some of them might. Even if a small percentage of them do, I think that's going to be really great, not just for DigiByte, but for the overall awareness, for people learning about it, spreading the word, more people coming into the community, and just the option of having mining there, I think is actually really huge for us. Really, really huge for us.
I believe so too. I really like the feature that when someone says, hey, how can I contribute to DigiByte? I can actually, because I used to say just open up a core wallet or run a node, but now how can I contribute at the same time? I, can get DigiByte and I can point them to the XM rig mining DigiByte, supporting the dev team. It's just a little bit of hash out of 1% out of 100. Can you actually get a little bit into detail, Josiah, about how that works? If we do that, do we have to pay off the developer, or do we just give them a little offering, or do we have to do that?
So it'll basically every 100. So it'll mine effectively for like give or take. I think it's like 80 to 120 minutes. And then for 1 minute out of every 100, it will swap pools. So it will basically change to a pool that is basically pointed at this other wallet. And then after 60 seconds, it'll change back. And that's basically it. So even if you're using XM Rig and you're not mining for the DigiByte development in that aspect, your computer will swap over and mine Monero for this other guy for 60 seconds and then swap back. And that's it. So that's how it all kind of works out, which is pretty cool. It's nice because it's like it's not taking any DigiByte from you. You're still getting your amount of DigiByte. It's a 1% difference. It's the difference between like 100 hashes per second and 99 hashes per second. If you kind of average it out like that, it's still pretty damn good. And I think over time, if we can use those funds to basically get somebody to So that's my dream, and that was what we were saying before, is have it literally not even require a button push. I don't want to push a button. I'm literally that lazy. I plug it in at night. It should mine for me, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe give me a slider if I'm that way inclined to just like tweak it down from like 100 to like 75%. Maybe, so that maybe, but if you can use that then like as your wallet and literally have it mine into your wallet, like it doesn't have to ask you for your recovery phrase, it just does it. That's what I want. Like even one layer better in terms of removing the barrier to entry. How freaking cool is that, man?
It is very cool. I'm going to speak up.
Yeah. It sounds
awesome. Woo!
Yes.
How cool is that? Crickets. Like, great. Thank you, guys.
I didn't want to interrupt anyone.
Now, okay, so what kind of computer? Like, say I have a dual processor. What kind of computer should I get for the XM rig mining on the CPU?
None. That's it. That's the cool thing, man. Like, so there's going to be varying degrees of profitability, but you can use your existing computer. You've already basically got enough out of it. Like, you use it on a daily basis. How cool! Like, there's no need to go and get anything more, and I think that's really quite powerful. That comes back to what Blind Dave was saying again before about, like, where do you go with these other graphics cards and things? We're going to have the opportunity for them to basically, like, your existing stuff. You don't need to get anything more. If you want to, cool, no worries. If you go get, like, the biggest and the best computer, awesome. But if not, that's still cool too.
So can I just check, Josiah, because I think I'd read that they were looking for approximately 2 gig RAM per thread that you had on the processor. So in regards to how many threads you have, is that accurate or not? Because I have to be honest, since I read Random X, I was like, oh, I need a Ryzen 9 5600X. Like,
exactly. Look, so if my wife is watching this, I need that latest 5600X, right? Like, I've got it.
I was rubbing my hands thinking, oh, this is the excuse that I need to purchase what I want. So what is, have you got any idea in regards to the RAM for the per thread? Because is that accurate with what I said, 2 gigabyte per thread?
Okay, so let me bring this up. I've got a 3900X, so that's 12 cores, so hopefully 12 threads, maybe. Let me see how much memory it's using.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's actually like 2 gigs per thread. I have a feeling. Give me 1 second.
I was thinking it'd be closer to 1.2 or something like that.
Economic Ninja had to go. He didn't want to interrupt Josiah while he was talking, and he said he loved y'all.
It's good to have him on the show, man. It's awesome, and thank you for having me. Okay, so I'm mining right now as we're talking. I mean, I'm not like mining, I'm benchmarking, but it's using just over 2 gigs of RAM. Just over.
Okay.
Can I send like a screenshot or something here?
Ray said,
right?
Ray asked if you can run a 10-year-old computer on it.
Sure. Yep.
Or laptop CPU.
You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear me. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, am I screen sharing? Is that actually showing up, or is it?
There it is.
There we go. Okay. It's not super happy. So, okay, so you can see up the top there, it's using about 80% of my CPU. That's probably going to be because I've got a bunch of other shit open at the moment. StreamYard.
Can you make your screen just a little bit bigger, like full screen it?
No, it's 4K. It doesn't.
It's 4K, so that's why it's like that?
Yeah, 4K. Sorry.
So what do I do about it?
You show off 4K in your PC. What's the need?
So right there, 2084 megabytes is how much it's using. And then down here, we can see like my hash rate. Huge pages is enabled, which is cool. Like that's what we want basically. And yeah, it's mining.
So what is it running at the moment, Josiah, CPU wise?
3900X, so 12 cores.
What are you running? A 12 core.
What do you mean? Sorry,
is that right? You said a Ryzen or an Intel?
Yeah, the Ryzen 3900X.
Okay.
Yeah. So if your significant others are watching, you need at least a 3900X.
Okay, cool.
You don't, but if they're watching, you do. Yeah.
At least a 3900X.
At least. With 64, maybe 128 gigs of RAM. Maybe 256. I don't know. No, I'm just like, you can get away with 4 gigs of RAM. It doesn't matter.
So with the turnaround from SHA 256 to Prog Pal and Random X, I know it's right around the corner, man. What are we looking at? What time frame?
I mean, that's the hard thing, right? Like, because so with Prog Pal, what happened is we effectively, like, we started that almost 9 months ago. And Christy Lee's been doing it like on her weekends and her evenings and things like that. But the problem is sometimes you just run into issues. You run into like roadblocks and you can't get past it. And that's basically what happened. Was for like 2 months on her Saturday, she'd basically help out with and start like developing on DigiByte, trying to get this stuff done. And she was hitting her head against a wall. So we've got somebody else now who's taken over and is basically looking at the code, and they've already made strides. So we're making a lot of progress. Like, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we started doing testing releases this side of Christmas. You can download the code now and compile it and run it and test it out on the testnet.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of actually like getting a formal and a final release, it's going to be Q1 probably at the earliest, like maybe January, February. And then we'll basically go, right, here it is, everybody. Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, whatever it is. And then we might be like 3 months from there before we actually enforce the new algorithm kind of thing. So it could take that long. We want to give everybody plenty of time to upgrade. All the mining pools, everybody's going to be closed over Christmas and New Year and stuff and whatever. So,
did you want to say something, Silvertooth?
No. I did fingers crossed because 3 months, give me some time to mine.
So I think coming back to me of like, what do I think is coming around the corner, DigiByte or whatever, open topic. I really wanted Josiah to get up in here and tell us some things that were actually going on. I could just spout off my mind, or wishful thinking. And that's exactly why I wanted him joining this conversation. And another person was supposed to join, and I don't know if I should call him out because I'm not like that, guys. I don't talk about people behind their back. There was a question earlier in here, and I didn't want to pull it up and talk about it because that person isn't in this chat. I don't know what people are thinking, guys. I know something was said, and I don't want to bring it up again because that person, respectfully, is not here. So I'm sure we can all put our input to it. It was on Twitter, sure. Everybody knows it was said. It was said. Wasn't that big of a deal. He mentioned that it wouldn't be a good time to even discuss it. So I'm not going to drag somebody under the bus. This is a community talk, and I know people are interested about it, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. Can you guys, hey, Josiah, Silvertooth, Zep, Blind Dave, can you guys see the comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
You can't?
I'm not looking at
Blind Dave, I'm sorry, dude.
No, I didn't.
Right
I didn't bring
after,
the
though.
magnifier in, and then if I would hold my magnifier up to, I'm just using a phone, and then y'all would be blinded by the light because I have to use assistive technologies and whatnot. Anyway, this magnifier magnifies to 1,200 times.
So you're not completely blind. You do have a little bit of sight because you did
like 1,200 times.
Only in my right eye. Only in my right eye.
All right, everybody hear that?
I'm diagnosed at 20/200 in the right eye still.
Okay.
So
okay. In my church, we do have someone with your condition as well, and we drive him. He's just not allowed to drive, and he's a big part of our family at church, and we have to give him rides, So I totally understand. Forgive me if I forgot there for a second where I misspoke. Sometimes when people are in the room, you don't exactly remember everything that was said. But, I mean, Blind Dave Crypto does give that kind of away. Stupid me. So
well, and for me, it was kind of cool because in assistive technology training back in 2013, this is the big thing that got me into crypto in 2014 was it's just Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So that was how I did crypto, basically.
Okay. So, Josiah, I know you've been talking lately, but I got a serious question for you. I'm going to lay it on thick now. I'm going to go a little deep. Stop me if I'm going too far. But with the movements going around with globalization, some things going on with the connecting to computers and whatnot. What's your take on what can like DigiByte protect us to an extent with our personal data selves and our actual physical bodies? Because it seems like more and more transhumanism is trying to get us connected with Neuralink and all this thing with Elon Musk. It seems like we're trying to technically jack in. How far can DigiByte protect us, and will this be a deciding factor? Cryptocurrency versus AI and Neuralink. What,
Dude, I am so the wrong person to ask for that, because if we ever come up with the Matrix, man, sign me up. Like, I love it.
But the thing is like sometimes I believe, I don't know what it was, like 2 years ago, I mentioned a few things, and you're like, actually, dude, it's this. It was about the 5G and all that.
Yeah, 5G is not a problem. It's actually like, if anything, thanks to beamforming and things, you're going to get exposed to less radiation because it doesn't have to aim it at you and it's not intended for you. Like, that sounds great to me. I don't then have to receive the radiation and the information that's destined for your phone. I don't care about what's going to your phone. I don't give a shit. And just likewise, like, you don't care about what's going to my phone. If I'm over here watching a video on YouTube, why should it be beamed like just to everybody? Like, you don't care about that. You watched The Matrix last night, Crypty Girl. Yeah, the first one's my favorite, especially that scene where they go into like the elevators and stuff. And I've watched that so many times. Like, you turn the bass right up and it just pounds in your TV.
Oh, you mean where the bullets are just dropping in the hallway?
Exactly. It's the greatest.
Crashing down. Yeah. Flipping around on the, yeah. Dude, that was the heart and soul of that movie.
They're doing another one, aren't they?
They're making a new one, part 4.
They
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It is actually happening. I'm so excited.
But the brothers aren't doing it. The sister is.
Right.
Direct.
Yeah, whatever. Good for them.
Kowski brothers or whatever.
I don't keep up with the Kardashians, man. Like,
the rumor is, though, I'm trying to keep it down. The rumor is that John Wick could cross over to the Matrix in a
would that be, man?
Reality.
How cool would that be? Hey,
fact,
my wife's awake. I'm gonna have to go and love you and leave you guys. Thank you so much for having me on this. I gotta go and I'm gonna cook us some dinner. But have a great evening, everybody. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. It was great to hear from everybody.
Hey, Josiah, I appreciate you coming on the live feed. Listen, it's been 3 hours. I'm getting really loud. My wife is getting upset. I am technically going to end it on this note, and I'm going to play this outro.
3.5 hours. You can beat that, man. You can do it. I believe in you.
If he's leaving, I got to leave. I know we've been on the show for 3 hours.
Hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, tell your friends.
That's right. And guys, we love you. Later.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.